So the money school. So here we go. All right. So here's the agenda tonight. I had a couple people commenting. They were surprised it was 4 hours. Yeah, we're not kidding with that. We have a lot of training that we want to share with you tonight and lead into what we're doing. So from 6 to 7:30, starting right now, is going to be the Money School Essentials training. So this is where we're going to start talking about what's going on in the market right now, what to expect over the next year, over the next 2 years, over the next 3 years, what changes are happening, what is going to happen with this incredibly hot real estate and stock market. Where's that going? Just a little hint, it's not going to go up forever. You might want to start protecting yourself. So we'll get into that exactly, specifically how you can start protecting yourself from what is going to be coming up. We're going to get into self-directed investing, real estate investing, private funds, private lending. So that's going to be the next hour and a half. At 7:30, we have a special guest. Joseph is going to be joining us. Joseph is an existing money school student, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his story. One of the reasons I love Joseph is he fought Chris for a while before he realized he was making a mistake in his financial life. He started implementing what we taught him, and Joseph is just doing unbelievable. So he's going to come talk a little bit about his experience for 15 minutes. Then we have somebody from Tax Hive, who is a company that Kevin O'Leary is behind and backing. That's going to talk to you for about 15 minutes about taxes. Because let me ask this question. Have you all seen the news lately? There's a lot going on with taxes, right? There's a lot of changes going on with taxes right now. And when you start printing trillions and trillions of dollars, the only way to pay for that is to either A, increase taxes, or B, devalue the dollar so you can pay that debt back at a reduced amount, which Chris is going to talk about tonight as well, or C, all of the above. And you guys can guess what's going to happen, all of the above. So we need to be prepared. So we're going to be we're going to bring Joel on to give you an introduction to some of that. And then at 8 o'clock, Chris and I are going to do something we've never done before. So this is going to be a new money multiplier interactive training. So some of you are new. Maybe you don't know anything about money multiplier, infinite banking, be your own bank. This is perfect. You're going to learn everything you need to know tonight to understand what the concept is and how you can start implementing it in your life to either start paying for every car that you'll ever drive and own, or to pay off all your debt a lot quicker than you ever thought possible, or to start investing where you have uninterrupted compounding interest right here. And that same money that is compounding for you is also in this hand growing and increasing your wealth at the same time. So you're creating compounding guaranteed interest, which is of utmost importance for creating wealth. And you're also having your money constantly moving, which is necessary for creating wealth. Have that money out there at all times, working just as hard for you as you work to get that money in the first place. So we're going to go over the money multiplier with you in a really fun way, starting at 8 o'clock. And that should run us into about 9:30 Eastern time. And then we're going to wrap up with money multiplier. We're going to do a little bonus session, a final review recap, and then answer any questions live that we weren't able to answer through the chat. So anything you want to add to that, Chris?
Nope, not at all.
Perfect. Let's roll. So
it's going to go a lot quicker than it thinks. And I know a lot of people think it's a long time. The recordings will be sent out to you, but yeah, just stick with us. You're going to learn a lot. If you can give 4 hours of your time to change the rest of your financial life, might just be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you got to get to bed, stay up a little bit longer, bring the phone with you to your room. If you absolutely have to hop off, we will send you the recording so you can catch up. But it's not the same watching a recording as being live with us, where you can ask questions, interact, and have a good time with it. So, but yeah, we will send that out to you. So real fast, my name's Stephen Nagy. I've been in real estate for over 15 years, been an entrepreneur for over 15 years. I was a former financial advisor for Ameriprise Financial. Realized that was not the career path I wanted to take, learned about real estate, got into investing. And over the last 15 years, I've done everything from single family flips to multifamily deals, to private lending, to being involved in funds like mobile home parks, to the most recent venture of getting involved with residential developments because of where the real estate market is right now, which we'll talk about here this evening, to everything in between. I have had the opportunity to travel to 47 states, as well as Canada and Mexico, speaking on stages with some very large names and training thousands of students all across the country, not only from stages, but also working with people individually. So it's been a blessing, and I do love to travel. I now currently reside for the last 11 years in South Florida, in the northern Palm Beach County area. Jupiter, if anybody's familiar. So right behind me in this picture is the Jupiter Lighthouse there at the Jupiter Inlet. That's my son, Bryce, my wife, Courtney. And that is why I do what I do and wake up at 5 a.m. most days of the week and put in the time and the work and the hustle to provide a better life for my family than that I had when I was growing up. And to me, that's what life is all about. So I do, have several companies that operate real estate, manage rental properties, and of course, and absolutely love working with you as students, getting you involved in things like becoming your own bank and real estate investing. So can't wait to share a little bit more. Now, before I get into this, for those of you that are new, I do want to introduce Chris. Okay. So you've probably seen Chris maybe on his show on HDTV, Risky Builders. You might have saw Chris on YouTube or on Instagram where he's verified and has thousands and tens of thousands of followers all across the world. Maybe you've done deals with Chris in the past. He partners with students all across the country to do large real estate projects and fund different business opportunities. Or maybe you've never met Chris and you're brand new to this. So I'm just going to play this quick video to give you a rundown of that, and then we'll get rocking and rolling with it.
Chris Naugle is a nationally recognized entrepreneur from Western New York. In his 16 years of high-level experience in the financial services and advisory industry, he has managed over $30 million in assets, specializing in alternative investments, retirement strategies, and wealth accumulation. Using his expert knowledge in finance, he has successfully bought, renovated, and flipped hundreds of properties. Through his passion and success at real estate, Chris and his wife Larissa's renovation designs have been featured on HGTV's House Hunters, My Laundry Dream Home, and their very own show, Risky Builders. But where it all began was a 16-year-old with a t-shirt company in his mom's basement. A dream of becoming a professional snowboarder, owning a skateboard shop at age 17, and a lot of imagination. Here he is. Welcome to the stage, Chris Naugle.
All right. Chris, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So I'd love to give an introduction. If you wanted to stop the share on the screen, and I'll kind of show a little something here. I got another guest I wanted to show everybody here real quick. So just hit that stop there. So we're streaming right now from an office facility here in Buffalo, New York. We got about 8,000 square feet. This is one of our studios, and this is our shop cat. You know, you guys are going to see a lot more of him. This is Lazy Cash. So Lazy Cash hangs out here every day and creates a lot of problem when we're trying to do training. So I just figured I'd give an intro to him. But now let me give you an intro to me, because I know we got a lot of people on here that maybe this is the first time you're being exposed to the Money School, Money Multiplier, myself, Stephen, and the team. So I didn't come from money. You know, that's how it did. I grew up in a lower middle class family. My mom raised me. My dad was an alcoholic, and it was a huge struggle for my mom. But, you know, how many of you, I know that's not the norm, but how many of you have ever known somebody that struggled financially, or somebody that, you know, is kind of just had hard times financially? Well, that was my upbringing. That was me. Now, even though I didn't come from money, I always wanted more. How many of you have ever wanted more? Type in more if you've ever wanted more. That's what I want to see. How many of you have ever wanted more? From a live stage, it's so fun. I can get everybody to scream more. Well, I want to know how many of you have ever wanted more. And I bet you it's a whole bunch of you. We got well into the hundreds of people on here. And I was willing to hustle. And that's how I've done what I've done. I've hustled, but I've also along the way failed a lot. So even though I was, brought up in that family, that lower income family, I always wanted more, like all of you are typing in now. And thank you all for participating. I appreciate that. And the cool thing is I just want to bring that up again, that you are all the 5%. The other 95%, they're not here. The other 95% were like, I don't have time for that. I got to mow my lawn. I got to do this. I got to do that. That's too long to spend, but not you. So let's fast forward. 2004. In 2004, I had accomplished two major goals in my life. I'd become a pro snowboarder. That was my childhood dream. And I ended up doing that. And I also opened a chain of skateboard, snowboard shops called Fat Man Board Shops. They're still in operation today. I sold them off in 2010. And, you know, life was great, but I still wanted more. The early 2000 dot-com crash hurt me a little bit. It was the first recession. And when that hit, I had to get a job. And I've always been fascinated with finance, even at a young age. And I'd always watched that movie Wall Street with Michael Douglas. So I actually ended up landing in Wall Street. And I was a financial advisor. And all through the 2000s, I was doing really well. I rose to the top. I was one of the top financial advisors in the firms that I was at, managing tens of millions of dollars. And life was great. I'd even flipped a couple houses, one in 06, one in 07. And then in 2008, things were going so great, I decided to take a big shot and I bought a dilapidated paint store. And this paint store was going to be the new home for my Fat Man Board Shops. And I was going to rent out the other 2 units, because why pay somebody rent when your tenants can pay you rent, right? It's a logical idea. And all my wealthy clients as an advisor were all in real estate. So I wanted to really dive in. So I borrowed money from a hard money lender and I bought this paint store. And how many of you heard when I said I did this? 2008. Well, if any of you are old enough on here, I'm kidding, most of us are, to remember the Great Recession of 2008. That Great Recession brought me to my knees. And how many of you have ever made a decision in your life that you thought was going to go one way and then all of a sudden it goes the complete opposite way? Well, that's what happened. The Great Recession hit and it brought me to my knees, and I was literally so down, and I had one payment left to pay this hard money lender that I borrowed money for, that I remember I had to make a hard decision. This was despite my conventional financial knowledge. This was despite my conventional real estate knowledge. There were things I didn't know, and those things caught up with me. And I had to come home one night to my girlfriend who just moved into my house. Now, many of you, if you've watched any of my videos, you've seen my wife. I sort of married up, but that was the girlfriend back then. And I came home to her and I said, sweetie, I need your help. I need your help paying the mortgage. I need your help paying the utilities. I need your help paying all the bills at the house. And by the way, sweetie, my friend Pete's going to move into that bedroom down the hall. That's how bad things got. How many of you can relate? How many of you have ever gotten to a point in your life where literally you're backed into a corner and you don't know what else to do? So you do whatever is necessary. I had a 50-50 shot of making it through that point in time, because she could have just walked out the door. How many of you would have just walked out if somebody said that to you? I bet you more than 50%. But I think she kind of liked me because she stuck around and we made it through that terrible time. And despite the turnaround, okay, that I made, I was still making a lot of mistakes. And a lot of it was because my mindset was all messed up. I'd been taught all the things about money that most of us have. And many of those things kept driving me to the same conclusion in the same place. And that leads me to 2009 to 14. I bought a lot of apartment buildings in 2009 to 14. I was doing well still as an advisor. I had sold off Fat Man Board Shops and I was still snowboarding. And by 2014, I was up to 36 units. And then all of a sudden I went to get my 37th unit and the bank said no. Then they froze my line of credit. Then some circumstances happened and they called one of my mortgages and that was it. I had to sell all 36 units. I had to sell the dream house that me and Larissa had bought. Larissa's my wife now. She was my fiance then. And I was right back to the bottom. And you know, how many of you have made the same mistakes over and over in your life? And then sometimes we sit there and we wonder, what the heck am I doing wrong? Why do I keep making these same mistakes? I was over leveraged. I was under knowledged. And I kept doing the same thing over and over, thinking I was going to get different results with money. This has been a roller coaster of my life. Here I am at the bottom again. We had to sell off everything to make it through that time. But I remember during that time, I was feeling pretty crappy and I was at the bottom and I got a postcard in the mail and it said, come to this 3-day seminar to learn how to flip houses. And I remember I didn't want to go, but they were giving away a free iPod shuffle. Now, I don't know if any of you had to get something for free to show up tonight, but that's where that comes from. I got an iPod shuffle to show up and I wasn't happy to be there. But when I got there, I met 2 people, and those 2 people completely changed everything because they were talking about money in a way that I'd never heard money mentioned, in a way I've never heard money, used. And I remember thinking about that. if this is the complete opposite of what I've been taught to do with money, what else don't I know? And at that point, I dove in and I started to learn the things that no one teaches about money. I started following around millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires to learn the secrets of the wealthy. And that sort of brings me up to where we're at today. Tonight, me and Steven are going to lay out the things that I've learned over this long roller coaster ride of going up and down so that you can avoid those pitfalls, so that you don't have to ride the roller coaster that I did to learn what the wealthy know about money and how you can very easily apply that in your life to completely transform your life. And that leads me up to where we're at today. I mean, you saw the video. We had a TV show on HGTV. We flipped a lot of houses. And now my passion, my whole team's passion, is to teach all of you how to solve your money problems by teaching you how to take back control of your money. So that's all I got. That's my story. I hope you guys liked it. And we're going to keep you off that financial roller coaster ride that I was on.
Yes, sir. Amen there. It's, as a financial advisor right out of college, one of the biggest lessons I learned was just how many people are not prepared for retirement, and especially when markets take downturns, and especially when, things don't go as planned, or something happens in your life that you weren't expected, there's not something there to fall back on. It just amazed me how many people are just living paycheck to paycheck. And, it's the richest country in the world. And we're still one of the superpowers of the world. And it just, that really opened my mind. I grew up in a little small town in the middle of Virginia, and it just really opened my eyes to a lot in the world. And, I've people like yourself, Chris, that devote, their lives to sharing, how to get over that, how to get beyond that, how to make something of themselves. It's such a blessing. It really is. So, I couldn't be happier to be partnered up with you and being able to share this stuff with other people. And it's so very powerful. And I see some of our existing students over here in the chat box just kind of joking around with us and telling us, things have never, 43 years until I found you guys. Like, we get these emails from our students all the time. And that's what keeps you going and keeps that drive of getting up at 5 a.m. to create that next presentation or create that next training or put that next episode on MSTV, or, that's what it's all about. So it's just awesome. So let's get into some training. What do you think?
I think it's great. And, I also too, a lot of people, maybe can or maybe cannot stay here, but if you can stay the whole time, I want you to know that what makes you different than the other 95% is your willingness to invest your time and your energy to be here tonight. So thank you. I mean, I probably have said that, but thank you again for being here and for taking the time to change your life, because your life isn't just your life. It's your kids' lives and your kids' lives, because legacy is a huge part of what we're going to talk about today. So
yeah, man, taking action is a big part, being here and then taking action, applying what you learn. That's so very important. All of our money school students that join us and become part of our, one of our members, I speak with them every single day. It's part of being a money school member is, we can set up a call and talk about, what we call the financial GPS, how to get you from point A to point B in the very quickest way possible. And there's so many strategies, especially right now with what's about to happen in these markets, that you could take advantage of, and you can set yourself up in a position for you and your family financially that you never thought was possible. And it all starts right now with this training. So let's get this thing rolling. Let me go back to slideshow. All right. And before I move from this slide, if you look at the quote at the bottom of the screen, it is never about your actual resources. It's about how resourceful you can be. And I just don't want to stress I want to stress the importance of that simple little sentence right there. It is never about your actual resources. It is about how resourceful you can be. Because when I first saw Chris do his very first presentation, that was at the beginning. And I was like, man, I got to get to know this guy. I want to partner with this guy and do good things with this guy, because it's so true. Because it doesn't matter where you are right now. You can make a change in your life. Change one little thing, and it can change everything. It can put you on a new path forward. And that's who we want to work with. And hopefully that's why you're here right now. It does not matter where you're starting. Now, if you're starting in a good place, you have some money and you're just looking to protect it and grow it, absolutely. But if you're starting in a place where you just don't know, how you're going to pay your rent next, you got to start somewhere. So I love to see people like that here as well. So what is money school and why am I here? And that's what this presentation is going to be all about here over the next hour or so. What is money school? Why are you here? How can this help you change your life? And it all starts with what we call the 3 pillars of education. So 3 pillars of education. Number 1, real estate. Now, why do we talk about real estate? There's a number of reasons. First off, go talk to any millionaire or billionaire that you can talk to, that you personally know or that you can follow. And I guarantee you every single one of them owns real estate, and every single one of them owns a lot of real estate in one way, shape, form, or fashion. Okay. Now, when I talk about real estate, a lot of times people will think, okay, well, I own my house. And, I think Robert Kiyosaki said it best, your house is actually a liability. It's not an asset, except he didn't take it to the next level where how do we turn that home that you're currently living in into an asset for you that produces an income for you and grows your wealth even more? How do you use right now the home that you're living in into an asset? And we're going to show you that here tonight, here in a few minutes, actually. In real estate, not only do all millionaires, billionaires own real estate, but real estate is proven to be the fastest and quickest way to create wealth. If you're starting in a position where you don't have a lot right now, real estate is the proven quickest and best way to create more wealth and leverage your wealth if you already have money, right? And the thing that I love about real estate, and one of the things that we teach through Money School, are all the different areas and aspects of real estate. Because a lot of times, we start talking about investing in real estate, people automatically just start thinking about the shows on TV, flipping houses. I got to go buy this dump. I got to go find all these contractors to do the work. I got to fix this thing all up and make it pretty. Then I got to find somebody to buy it. That's one little part of real estate. Okay. Real estate investing is all encompassing. There's so many different aspects to real estate investing. I mean, we're going to teach you strategies, and we'll start here this evening. Strategies, how with none of your own money, you go out and you start putting properties under contract and you're flipping these things before you even close on it. Okay. This is called wholesaling. We'll show you how to close on a property, just paint the walls, put some fresh paint on the walls, maybe, hire a cleaning crew to come up and clean the place up, and you could sell it and make $15,000, $20,000 just like that. People are doing this every single day, our students. We'll teach you how to go out there and start buying entire mobile home parks, multifamily units, how to go out there and just, let's say you don't want to actively do any real estate. You have a job, maybe, or you're approaching retirement. You don't want to go out there and hustle and put your time and energy into flipping houses or wholesaling real estate, but you want to be part of it. So how do you take your money that you have now and how do you give that to somebody else that's willing to go out there and hustle? And that's what Money School is all about. And the Private Money Club is connecting these people together. And that's all what our community is about. And that's what our members do every single day. Those with money are lending it to people that need it. And those people that need it are taking it and going out there and hustling and making everybody money that's involved in the deal. So we'll teach you that. And so there's so many different aspects of real estate investing that you can get into, but it has to be a pillar of your financial, we call it the 3 pillars of education, but this is really the foundation that the rest of your financial life and your success is going to be built upon. Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Chris?
Yeah, just, a lot of people don't get into real estate for one reason or the other, but mostly money. They say, I can't get into real estate because I don't have the money. Folks, neither did I. Or they'll say, oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the time either. And they always have an excuse to why not to get into real estate. But the one thing I will tell you is, just like Stephen mentioned earlier, it's never about your actual resources. It's about how resourceful you can be. I didn't have money when I got into real estate either. And I thought that was going to be a major hindrance. But once you learn the secrets and how to raise money, how to raise private money by solving other people's problems, that one thing that everybody thinks is a big hurdle, the money part, becomes the easiest part. The other stuff is much harder, but real estate isn't single dimensional either. You can do so many different things with real estate. You can just source deals for other investors. You can, do real estate for passive investing. You can do it to flip. There's so many aspects, and more so than we're even going to be able to get into tonight about real estate. And the one thing that Stephen mentioned now, but I'm just going to piggyback on, when I was an advisor for 16 years, my wealthiest clients always were real estate investors. They had more assets. During the recessionary periods or the down periods of 2009, 10, 11, and then all the things that happened on that climb up when things got rough, they were the ones that were taking advantage of new opportunities because they were liquid and because they had tangible assets that paid them in income, even in those hard times. So always remember, we're going to get into what we think is coming here in the next few years in the markets, and you might not like it. But the one thing I'll tell you is in the prior recessionary periods that I've seen, the real estate investors held up the best.
Yeah. I mean, what if I told you that you can actually use a 401k or an IRA, a retirement account, to buy real estate? What if I told you that if you need money to go out there and get into real estate investing, that you can teach other people how to use their retirement accounts to fund your deals where everybody's making money? And that's what we're going to show you here tonight, here in a few minutes, is exactly how to do that. So there's so many strategies. All right. So number two, and again, I'm kind of going through it because I want to get to this stuff and make sure we can cover it all because it's so, so powerful. So number two, the second pillar of education and your foundation is, of course, money. So this is like Chris just talked about. If you don't have the money, we're going to show you the strategies tonight to go out there and show other people where you can use their money. You can tap into our network. Those of you that want to join us and become a money school member, you can go out there and you can grow, but everything evolves around money, right? So Chris, I think you said it perfectly just now. You know, a lot of people, what holds them back from getting started and doing something is the money aspect. But we're going to show you tonight why that does not matter. And then on top of that, where do you start smartly investing your money? How do you start taking control of your money? Because what are we taught our entire lives, right? Go out there and get a job. Go out there and invest in your 401k. Rely on a pension. Someday you'll have Social Security. It doesn't work. Chris said it earlier, 5 out of 100 people are going to be able to have any type of retirement. The other 95% aren't. And that's just a fact of life. It's because they don't understand money. If you understand money, everything else is going to be able to, you're going to be able to do accomplish anything you want in your life, but you got to understand money. Where does it come from? How do you grow it? How do you control it? And how do you protect it? And we're going to show you that exactly how to do that.
Yeah. And I think another thing about money is, you have to understand our whole lives. We've been taught to work for money, trade hours for dollars, create a business, work, hustle, hustle, hustle for money. We have never been taught how to make our money work for us. And that's the thing we got to learn. And we're going to show you how to do that today. And the best part about money is money will never stop working for you. It will never complain. It will never ask for a vacation or a raise. It will do what you tell it to do when you tell it to do it. Your money wants to work for you. Sorry, I'm holding this big stack of hundreds, but I just want the visual. Your brain works in two ways and your mindset works in the same way. First, you hear the audible. Second, you see. You have to understand your money is your lazy money sitting on your couch. It has to go to work. And that's what we're going to also show you how to do with very simple. And I want to be clear. People complicate money. They make money this almighty evil thing. And money is just a tool. It's like the shovel in your tool shed or your garage. It's all it is. How you use that tool is what matters. Making your money work is that. It's just understanding a few simple things on how to make that tool work in its most efficient manner so that you can go out and live the life you want. Maybe your life is working, maybe it's not. Whatever you choose, you can do that on your own clock, not somebody else's, and not because you have to, because you want to. That's what money can do for you, and that's what it has to do for you. But we got to change some things, and we're going to get those things, those changes, out of the way today.
Yeah. And once we teach you how to control your money, you can then put it out there, let that money go to work for you. All of your money should be working just as hard for you every single hour of every single day of your life, just as hard as you work to get that money in the first place. And after tonight, you're going to know exactly how to do that.
So I have to hit this before we move to legacy, and I love legacy, but there's a comment that I have to hit on in the chat. Somebody said, that they've lost out on 2 deals to cash offers, to people making cash offers. The sellers didn't want to allow the time for the setup of the financing and all that. Folks, that's very real right now. But I want you to understand one thing. Those buyers that are putting cash down on that contract, chances are probably better than 50, maybe even 75% of those cash offers.
Not their money.
They don't have the cash. I didn't. Exactly. I made cash offers on properties, every single one of them. Did I ever have the cash? Most of the time, no. But what I knew how to do is I knew where the cash was and I knew how to get it because of the opportunity I would present if and only if I got that property under contract. So, we're going to show you that. My book, Private Money Guide, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of the ebook of that, teaches you how not to, don't worry about the money. They're making cash offers. Chances are they don't have the cash. They just know where to get it. And because of that, they're beating you out on your offers. So that's a great, keep those chats coming in and we'll keep hitting them. And I'll find ones that really strike a nerve and we'll really pull them out. So thank you for participating.
Yeah, absolutely. So the third pillar of education in your new financial foundation is legacy. And what I mean by that is the future, is kids, is grandkids, is what is important to you, right? So how do you create that legacy and how do you protect that legacy? Okay. So we are going to, we're going to show you. So first off, how to keep more of the money that you're earning, right? So that what I mean by that is through taxes. So lots and lots of money going out through taxes. There's lots of legal and ethical and honest ways to keep a lot more of that money that right now you're giving to the government, right? Plain and simple. So how to keep more of that money, how to protect that money. Do we live in a sue happy society? Absolutely, right? Somebody trips and falls on one of your properties, boom, lawsuit. It could take everything if you're not set up the proper way. So we'll teach you how to protect that money. And then more importantly, we're going to teach you how to multiply your money when we do that, the second half of this with the money multiplier, how to create this legacy for your family, for the people that are important to you in life, for the favorite charities of yours, but how to create an incredible sum of money tax-free, completely 100% tax-free, that is going to pass down to the next generation upon your passing, upon your, what do you call it, Chris? Not retirement, but
graduation.
Graduation.
Mean from high school or college, folks, the big one.
So, I mean, I cannot stress that more, that once you work so hard to make all this happen, to get yourself in a position of success, how to protect it and then how to pass it down the most efficient and safest way possible.
Couldn't agree more. And, when you think of legacy is such an important thing. We're here on earth for a very short period of time. And while we're here, we need to do a lot of things. We need to help a lot of people solve their problems. Well, another thing we have to do is while we're here, we have to plan so that the next generation, our children or our grandchildren, that they might be able to live a better life, to do more, to help more people. That's how you got to think about it. When you think of like wealthy families, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, now bad examples from helping standpoint, but they have helped a lot. They've also done a lot of bad, but they have family rules that are pretty much legacy based, meaning that when one of them graduates, there is a mechanism, a plan in place that pays a whole bunch of money back to a trust that allows that next generation to do more, to be better, to build more. And it should include to give more. And that is what we need to do. Legacy is such an important thing. We can't just spend our time on this earth just for us. How selfish. We have to think about, what we can do for others and what we can do for the next generation, which is all legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I actually saw my dad on here, my dad, Greg. So hello. I've been had the opportunity to actually now buy some real estate with him, some rental properties, which is pretty awesome. Just for me personally. So, something he taught me when I was a kid, though, that's always kind of stuck with me is, life's no dress rehearsal. You don't get second chances. You got one life to live. You got to get out there and make it count. You don't get a second chance. And that's what, that's what the legacy is all about, is being able to do that. And, I just want to say one more thing before we move forward. We're about to jump into some pretty complicated topics. We're going to talk about the stock market, the real estate market, everything that's going on, all these different aspects of real estate investing and private lending. If some of this stuff starts going over your head, do not worry. You have to start somewhere, right? And there's this saying, you got to crawl before you walk. You got to walk before you run. And then once you're up and running, then you can take off sprinting and you're off to the races. So don't worry. We're going to break this down with you. We're going to cover a lot tonight, but if you like what you hear, then we want to bring you in so we can start at the very beginning and start walking you through this process on how all of this stuff starts working together and how to bring it together for that success that you want. So don't worry. And we will provide the support. Like I said, I talk to our money school students all day, every single day. We provide the support to you where you're never left on your own. So that's very, very important. So Chris, This next part, what I want to do is talk a little bit about what is going on with the markets. Real estate typically historically is a trailing indicator, meaning we can watch the stock market, and when things start to change with that, a lot of times we can start seeing, a change in real estate, and it kind of follows from there. So it's important to watch the stock market, especially if you have a lot of money in the stock market, either in retirement accounts or you just have money in the stock market through your brokerage account. How do you start protecting that money? Because 100% of people I talk to agree that we're going to see a correction, and 95% of people I talk to a major correction at some point in the next year, 2 years, 3 years. Who knows the timing on it, but why not be prepared right now? So whether that's starting to learn things like hedging, where you're protecting the money that remains in the stock market, or that's starting to pull some of that money out of the stock market through things like self-directed retirement accounts, through things like IBC, different strategies. But no matter what the case is, you need to understand what's coming. So I wanted to, and the reason why we can predict this is through history. History repeats itself, right? So we study history. Economists study history more than we do, and then we listen to and study those economists. So Chris, I'm going to stop my share. Can you show us just a little idea of what we can expect to come?
Absolutely. Yep. So here's the thing, folks. Now, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I'm not trying to paint a scary or bad picture with what I'm going to do next. I want to be very real with all of you and very transparent. Maybe some of you aren't ready for the transparency I'm about to deliver, but that's what I'm here for, is to teach you the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. So one thing I can guarantee you, almost with certainty, is that I spend more time studying economists, economic patterns, market patterns, charts, like everything that's going on out there that has to do with money. I study it in nauseating nerd-like detail so that I then can understand what's coming. Because if I know what's coming, doesn't matter when, it could be a year, it could be 2 years or 3 years. Remember those 3 time frames, because it's going to be one of those. When it comes, I am so ready to capitalize on any opportunity that comes at me, because I've spent that time preparing for what's about to happen. You see, here's what people don't do. And I'm going to draw some stuff on the board behind me, but here's what people don't do. People don't plan. They don't prepare. They don't get ready. They just live in the moment, which there's nothing wrong with the now. I wear a watch that says now. If you're seeing my watch, it just says now. It's always the right time. But that doesn't mean that we only plan for the now. Because if all you do is plan for the now, all of you are probably in a state of euphoric, I don't even know what you call it, but you're in a state of euphoria. We call it FOMO, fear of missing out. And you're all plowing money into everything you can get your money into right now, from crypto to the stock market to real estate, because it just seems like the party's never going to end. The party's going to go all night long. Now, I want to take it back in time, because although many of you think that this is the only time this has ever happened, the market's going up, the Fed's printing ungodly amounts of money. We just came out of COVID and people are spending, buying, investing. It's never going to end. Wrong. It will end. And it will end abruptly. It will end miserably if you let that party continue to go on. The music will stop. It always does. So let me take you back in time and just paint a little bit of a picture here. Let's go back to 1918, the Spanish flu. None of you were probably alive for that, but there was this thing called the Spanish flu. Very much resembled COVID. Okay, so that was 18. Then you go into the roaring 20s. Everything was booming. Everything was building. It was the roaring 20s. Watch the movies. You've seen all those movies. The Great Gatsby, roaring 20s. Things were just exploding. They're building stuff everywhere. Everybody's in the market and everybody's making a lot of money. 1929. Most of you know of 1929 is when the Great Depression started. But what you don't know is in 1929, although that is when the Great Depression started, it was still really good. The market had plummeted, but then big money piled into the market, ramped it back up. So back then it wasn't the Fed printing money. It was the big bankers that had all the money. It was a different time, but it was the same exact thing. And the scariest part is if I take 1926, 27, 28, 29, and probably into the 30s, and I lay them over what's happening today, chart for chart. It's almost a dead up match. Some minor differences, but it's eerie. It's scary. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit to the dot-com crash. Some of you remember early 2000s. Many people think the dot-com crash was when the planes hit the tower. Now that was kind of the first domino going down, but the damage was already done and it was already going down no matter what. The tech crashed and burned. A lot of people lost jobs. People lost all their money. The market dropped for 3 years straight. I remember it. I was just getting into the financial advisory world then. And that was a hard time, but you know what? That looks a lot like what's going on in our tech world today. You've heard of FANG, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google. FANG might be like the untouchables today, but you know what? There was untouchables back in the early 2000s, the dot-com crash. Eerie that it looks the same. Fast forward to 2006, 2007, 2008, the Great Recession. How many of you have gotten in your car and driven around lately and drove through all of these developers, new developments, right? These new subdivisions with all these brand new sparkly houses. I just did it last weekend. Couldn't believe my eyes. House after house being built, every available lot being constructed and being built, sold signs everywhere. And I'm just like, what in the hell is going on here? And then I remembered back to 2006 and 7, and I'm like, oh yeah, that exact same thing was happening then that's happening now. Folks, I'm just trying to wake you up and get you to see what's really going on out there, because what's going on isn't unprecedented. What's going on has happened before. Maybe it looked different. Maybe the cars we drove were different. Maybe the style of house was different. Okay. Maybe it was black and white TV versus colored TV or whatever the heck those things are on our walls. It's the same. When you study history and you study patterns and you see what's going on, you can't help but to think, holy crap, something's coming and it isn't going to be good. And it's not, folks. So the biggest question is, if you want to grow your wealth and you want to make money and you want to do all these things, but yet now I just told you that something big is coming, and that big thing is probably going to be the next Great Depression. That's not Mr. Chris Naugle, America's #1 money mentor, telling you that. That's the economist of the world, the James Rickards, the Harry Dent Juniors. I could go on and on, but you probably won't even know who they are. These are the world-renowned economists saying the same things. This is where I learned this. And they're scared out of their mind. But here's the beauty. If everything's going to go down down in fire or whatever you want to call it, right? If we're approaching that time in a couple of years, why not party till it's 1999, right? Great. We can still party, but yet plan for what's coming. Because here's what's coming to me and to all of you, my 5%ers on here. What is coming is the biggest opportunity. Let me repeat that. What is coming is the biggest opportunity of every single one of your lives. You may not realize it. You may not even want to admit it, but it is. Because if we could get that Back to the Future DeLorean, if we could just get that darn thing parked out in the mall's parking lot here and take it for a spin, I'm going back to 2009. That's where I'm going first. And you know what I'm going to do in 2009? I'm going to buy stuff, lots of it, pennies on the dollar. Why? Because that's what you do to make money, folks. Warren Buffett says it best. You buy low, you sell high, and you don't lose money. But what do all of us do? What are we trained and taught to do? Right now, you watch the news, you're talking to the advisors, the bank brokers. What are they all telling you to do? Go all in. Push it all in. Take it all. Give me it all. Come on, put all the money in the market. Now's the time. Oh my God, Bitcoin's going to the moon. Tesla's going to the moon. Apple's going to the moon. Can't touch those companies. They're so big. Amazon, that company will never go down. Wrong, 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 and wrong. They all go down when the market goes down. So don't be tricked by that. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't think you're missing out on something. You know what you're missing out on? You're missing out on what really matters. And what really matters is the big opportunity just a few short years away that you can start planning for today. And what we're going to show you is we're going to show you simple ways, literally simple. Change one thing, add one step to your life that will completely set you up to be in control of your money, to be able to take advantage of these. Secondarily, I might not get into this today, but there's going to be additional trainings teaching us. I will show you exactly how to position your money. Where do people always ask me, well, Chris, great. You know, you're saying the whole thing's going to go down. So that makes me want to sell my real estate like you are, because I am. I'm selling all my rentals aggressively, putting them on the market as fast as I can get them on the market. Why? Folks, it's so simple. The market's at its highest point it's ever been at. Why wouldn't I want to sell? Oh, Chris, why would you sell? They're all cash flowing. You showed your spreadsheet and you're making a bunch of money, tens of thousands a month in net rental income. Yeah, but you know what? If I can get hundreds of thousands of dollars from selling them all and deploy that hundreds of thousands of dollars, and actually probably more, but deploy that all at 30 or 40 or 50 cents on the dollar, you know how long it would take for those rental checks to equal that? Folks, it's a game. We have to ride a cycle. We have to have a plan. That's my plan. It might not be yours, but we need to have a plan for you. And that plan doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be a plan. It can involve buying stocks. It can involve buying options. We teach you all of that. It can involve you buying real estate right now. We'll show you how to buy real estate the right way right now without putting yourself in danger, without having to worry about the market going down. Some people, it's okay if the market goes down when you own real estate. Maybe you're buying for the long-term cash flow and you don't care if the value of the property drops 30%. But you got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, can I accept a 30% drop? Can I accept a 20% drop? If it fell apart and it dropped and I lost my job, can I still keep those properties? Would it still make sense? If I lost 30% of my 401k or 40% of my 401k, will I be okay? Can I still retire on target on the date I want to retire? If my investments in all the things that I've been buying, if they went down 30%, can I still support my family, put a roof over their head, pay for, my kids' college, put food on the table? These are real questions, folks. And if the answer is no to any of them, we have some work to do, but that's okay. We have some time with you tonight. I didn't draw any fancy pictures. I promise I will. We have additional trainings coming up that will draw some very intricate photos. I will literally lay out to you exactly, penny for penny, how you should allocate your money for what's coming. And I'll make you a ton of money. But the problem with how I show you to make money is it takes some time. We have to wait for the big opportunity, because if you think the opportunity is right now, you're being lied to. It's an opportunity. We can make money in any market. We can make money when the market goes up, when the market goes down, or when the market goes sideways. Make no two ways about it. We have an options derivatives training program called 1010 that teaches you all how to do that. It's super simple. We can teach you how to hedge your current portfolio. So when the market tanks, you're protected, but are you protected right now? These are the things you need to learn. And these are the things we're going to deliver. So sorry I went long on it, Stephen. Sorry I didn't get to, I promise I'm going to draw on the board. I promise you. I can't get through a night without doing it. But these are just the things that I need to wake you up a little bit. You're my 5%ers, folks. Okay, we got 150 plus people on here. You're all the 5%ers. The 95%, they're not here. So you are. So pay attention. This isn't all going to resonate to you. But if one thing tonight that we teach you resonates, if one thing changes your financial future, your time here today with us was well spent. And even though you didn't pay us one penny, matter of fact, even though it cost us probably $10,000 to put this event on with no money being made for any of you paying a penny, that's the way it's designed. We are here to give what we've learned. How we make money is 3, 4, 5 layers deeper. It doesn't matter. We have to change your financial future. We have to solve your money problem, and we have to get you back in control of your money before anything else can happen, before you should ever pay us a penny. Stephen, I'm done.
Love it, man. Love it. It's
I can
so
go on
very
forever about that stuff, but man, I don't want to get too deep into that because it's
we got a lot tonight. We got a lot. So no, it's so very important. And that really sets up everything, because money is made when there's blood in the streets. And I want to say this, as real estate investors, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we are pillars in our community. I mean, Chris, I think you're pretty well known around where you live. It just starts to happen when you start doing things like,
I'm probably not liked where I'm at,
but you know what I mean? So it's so important. And, but you got to start somewhere. Like I said, you got to crawl before you walk, and then you can take off and you start running and sprinting and accomplishing all kinds of beautiful things. So let's get this rolling here. And so one of the things that I want to say is, find that one thing that you can implement right now, right? Find that one thing that you can implement that's going to change, because one thing can literally change everything. And we're going to go over so many different subjects, so many different topics. In fact, let me share my screen again. In fact, what we have actually coming up. So just those of you that, just so you guys know, what this event here this evening is going to lead into is going to be a 3-day Money School Essentials training event. Okay. So this is going to be a virtual event. So again, we can do it just like this. We're going to get back together next weekend. So this is the 3-day intensive Money School Essentials training event. And we're going to get into so many different topics, so many different subjects, and get so deep with you over these 3 days. If your head's spinning this evening, your head's going to pop off after these 3 days. But again, we're here to support you and help you moving forward above and beyond after that 3-day, after everything. So these are some of the different stuff that we're going to be talking about, but we spend basically all day on Friday talking about money, talking about banks. Chris is going to get deep into how traditional lending works, community banks works, credit unions, commercial loans, private banks, self-directed IRA, all these different types of banks that are out there that you have access to. I saw somebody in the comments, talking about those cash offers just now. I was responding when you were talking, Chris. And, if you're running into issues where you're not getting deals, you just don't understand where to go to get that money to get those deals, because there's no reason that money should be stopping you. Like we said at the beginning, if money's stopping you from getting started in real estate, you just don't know what you just don't know. You don't have the education to do it. There's no reason that the money part should stop you. So we literally spend all day Friday talking money, talking banks, and talking how to get all the money you'll ever need for every single deal that you'll ever do for the rest of your career. Plain and simple. That's it. So what we have is we have this 3-day class coming up. It's like I said, it's next weekend. It starts Friday, April the 30th. It goes right through Saturday, May 1st and Sunday, May 2nd. It starts at 10 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern each day. We plan on stopping at 2:30 each day, but from a warning right now, fair warning for everybody on here, I would book your day out through at least 4 o'clock. We tend to give a lot more than what we plan on, and we tend to go a little bit longer because this stuff is so very important. So I think the last one we did, this is the 7th virtual 3-day training we've done now, the 7th. And the last one we did, we were going into 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening on Saturday. So we'll try and keep it on schedule, but I'm just giving you a warning. When Chris gets on a roll, this is stuff you're not going to hear nobody else is teaching this stuff. So when he gets on a roll, I'm not going to stop him. I've never seen a student want to stop him, and he'll just keep going all day. So just a fair warning right there. So that's what we have coming up. We'll give you the link and stuff like that. If anybody needs to hop off, but you want to register, but keep in mind, we're giving you this 3-day. A couple little things about it real fast before I move on. Yes, it's recorded. I don't know a single other company that teaches a 3-day class that's this advanced and this intense with all the education and topics that we talk about, that records it and gives you the recording that you're going to have access to for the rest of your life. All right. It goes into your new educational database in a platform we call Use Teachable. All of it's put inside there, along with all the bonuses that you're going to receive. So we give you a ton of bonuses. All the tools, for instance, we call it the file vault. So every tool you need to evaluate properties, the actual templates, when Chris goes out to evaluate a property to decide if it's a good rental or a good flip, he inputs it in these forms and it spits out, hey, this is a good deal or it's not a good deal. We give you all this. And actually, we're going to go through them here tonight as long as we have time, but you're going to get all of that. It's interactive. There are templates where you can type it in and it calculates it all. It's just, modern technology is a beautiful thing. Education is the most important because you don't want to rely on technology, but work smarter, not harder. Have you ever heard that? So that's where we start implementing things like technology to allow us to work smarter, not harder, to allow us to scale and allow us to get more work done in a shorter amount of time. Because what is the most important thing in life? Time. Your time is by far the most important thing, most important aspect of your life. So the more we can do to save time and make things a lot more efficient, the better. So that's what this 3-day is going to do. And we bring in experts from all over the country to talk to you during these 3 days also. So we can highlight some of those here in a little bit, but I just wanted to go ahead and introduce to you, if you like what you're hearing this evening, then you're going to want to spend these 3 days with us because they are no joke. Anything on that, Chris?
No, I mean, and a lot of people, that are on here have probably been to existing 3 days. And as you already know, everyone's different. We have speakers, we rotate the speakers, we bring in other experts. This 3 day, we have an expert coming in to teach you the secrets of trust and foundations and how you can basically file your taxes on a 1041 instead of a 1040, drastically reducing the amount of taxes paid. So how many of you want to learn how not to pay as much in taxes? This is what we're going to be teaching. His name's Solomon. He's a leading expert in this. It's very difficult to get him. We literally had to bait him in. So, kind of like the carrot thing. Come on, we almost got you. We're a little bit further. We got him. He's going to teach you what he teaches multimillionaires on how to file 1041 taxes instead of 1040s so that you can control your taxes a lot more. And folks, I don't know about any of you, but anyone think taxes are going down? Matter of fact, I think every time I turn the news on, I about want to freaking run out back and, well, anyway, but I get upset. I get upset because where they're going. They're going up. They're going to the moon. That's where they're going. It's scary, but we are in control of that if we are in the know. And if we do what the wealthy do with their money and their taxes, and that's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn all sorts of cool stuff. Look at Chris.
Those taxes.
That's me.
Those taxes are, one of the three enemies that we're going to get into in a second. And there's three enemies that are just going to kill your financial life, and taxes are definitely one of them. So that's very, very important. And we'll get into some of the other speakers and stuff that are going to be on, some of the experts that'll be teaching over the 3 days also. But the one thing I want to mention on the 3 days is there is 2 sections that we do not record. So are we doing that on this one, Chris, Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
I love doing these bonus sessions. We stop the recording so that it's only the people that are there for that. Everything else is recorded, and I just go nuts. I tell you what's really, really on my mind, and I kind of leave the filter behind. And I also bring in some other experts. Last time we brought in a crypto expert. We brought in Sodi to talk about options and stocks and derivatives, and we just had a grand old day. I didn't even know we went to 5. I'm sorry. But we were just on a roll with that, and we're going to do the same time this time. Lots of bonus sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the only part that isn't recorded. So let me clarify that. But that's where Chris is unfiltered and just giving you what he thinks. It might not be what's politically correct to say, but this is stuff that you're going to not want to miss. So make sure even if you missed most of the day, hop on at the end just so you can see the bonus section, because that is not recorded. All right. So this is what Money School is all about. Let's get into it. Again, we take 100 people. You guys saw this earlier. 5 of those people are going to be either wealthy or financially where they can retire. The rest are either going to be working, dead, or dead broke. And again, there's no reason for any of that to happen. So why does that happen? So we found, through our financial planning careers and studying economics, there's really 3 factors that drive why people are not able to ever get ahead. Right? I talk to people every day. I feel like we're making better money these days. We're doing everything right. We just can't get ahead. Have you ever thought that to yourself? I'm doing well. Why aren't I getting ahead? All right. So number 1, inflation, plain and simple. Chris, you say this best, but what's going to be happening?
What's going to be happening with inflation or deflation?
Exactly. Right.
Well,
all I know is when you're printing trillions and trillions of dollars, something not great is probably going to happen, right?
Yeah, here's the thing. You guys can all see it right now. There's a lot of things that you just open your eyes and you can see. The government's printing trillions of dollars, okay? They were printing in the beginning, very necessary. PPP loans, EDIL loans. Now we're on PP round 2 or 3. We're on EDIL round 2. I don't know how many stimulus checks. They just keep printing it. It's called modern monetary theory. A lot of people just think, oh, the government just wants to give us money. Wrong again. It's a game. It's a trick. It's an illusion. That's not why they're doing it. They're trying to take and devalue your dollars. I'm holding a $100 bill. The government wants your money. They want you to go out and work hard. They want you to make lots of money, and they want to tax you on that money. But the tax that you think you pay is not the tax I'm talking about. I'm talking about a hidden tax called inflation. And how do they create inflation? They print money. Okay, they stimulate the economy. And when they do that, it creates a whole bunch of inflation, which inflation you think means bread gets more expensive, milk gets more expensive. How many of you have shopped at the grocery store lately? Things are kind of pricey, right? My wife gets those, the groceries, and I go pick them up. I'm like, wait, how much? What the hell happened to the $100 grocery days? They're gone. If you got a family, you're not getting groceries for $100. Anyone been to Home Depot or Lowe's and looked at plywood? Is it 97? Is it 120? How much is that thing of plywood? Because the last time I remember it was $27.99. Okay. So what happened? Did plywood actually get more expensive to build? Did, the groceries you buy get more expensive? No, folks. What happened is the government stole your money through inflation. They printed money, and every dollar they print steals a little piece of your current dollars, which is why your money today is the most valuable that it will ever be. It will never be worth more than it is today, because in the future, inflation will shoo this away. Google inflation and look at how it has happened over time. 90% of the dollar has been stolen through inflation. And folks, here's the worst part about inflation. You might think the government's on your side and like, oh, inflation, bad. No, we don't want inflation. Wrong again. The government wants inflation. They want massive inflation. They won't say that. But if you follow the economists and you look at why, they want to devalue the dollar as quickly and as rapidly as they can so that that deficit that they have can be paid back later with weaker dollars. If they devalue your dollars and the dollar in general, they get to pay that debt back with with dollars that are worth a lot less. It's an advantageous thing for the government. But you know what the government doesn't want? Deflation. You know what's going to happen soon? Deflation. We're in an inflation bubble right now because of this printing spree. But once this all calms down and everybody stops spending and everybody starts saving and changing the way they do things, you're going to see deflation. That's the worst enemy for the government, but it's the best thing for you, because if a price of something deflates, isn't that a good time to buy? Like I mentioned earlier? Yeah. But we got to deal with this inflation thing over the long haul, because no matter what happens with deflation, the government always will promote and try to create inflation because they want your dollars, folks. They want you to just work harder so they can take and take and take more. Sorry, the truth hurts, but this is what we need to change. And you can beat this.
Absolutely. And the traditional way, again, the traditional that doesn't work, right? What you're always told, never taught about. So the traditional, put the money in a savings account. It's safe in there. It's secure. It's there for you. I talked to somebody on the phone earlier. They had $100,000 sitting in a savings account. All right. What does the savings account pay in interest?
Well, let's give them 1%.
All right. Let's say 1%.
They're at Ally Bank.
Does anybody think inflation's a little higher than 1%, even with the government numbers they're telling us?
Yeah, it's about 3.2.
What does that mean? That means that money sitting in there is doing what? It's actually losing. You're losing wealth every single day that money's sitting in there. So if you want to learn one easy strategy to fix that, stay till 8:30, and we're going to show you exactly how to take that money, grow it at a guaranteed 4% rate, plus a little bit extra in there. And you're going to have the same exact access to that money anytime you need it, for a rainy day, for investing, for whatever you're saving for anyways. Does anybody like that idea?
Yeah. And you won't have to work any harder or any longer. You won't have to take on any risk.
Yep. You don't have to we're going to show you how to beat enemy number one, inflation, here in about an hour and a half. All right.
We're going to beat that up.
Number two, volatility. So what does this mean? Chris, again, I'm going to call you in out of the bullpen on this one, because if you don't mind just doing your little example where, money, if you're making money and then it falls and then you make the same, how you really aren't back at the same amount, and what that means. And I'll let Chris get into it. But what we're talking about here, guys, is volatility. So that's when markets go up and down, right? So everybody's partying right now. It's a stock market party. Everybody's having fun. Everybody's buying cryptos. Those things are just going up and up and up and every single day. But guess what's going to happen? It's going to come down. And if you're not prepared, if your timing isn't right and you need that money right when that market comes down, whether it's a college education 529 plan, whether it's your 401k or IRA retirement plan, whether, whatever the case is, when that comes down, if you need that money, then guess what? It's gone. And it's going to take a lot more time and a lot more effort to get it back to where it was. Volatility kills finances. Chris, do you mind sharing that real fast?
Here you go. This is what they've taught you, right? Invest for the long term.
I can't see. Should I stop the share?
Oh, well, that might help. All right, I got into my drawing, man. You are.
Let's go.
All right. You still sharing?
I don't know. No, not now.
All right. Can you see me now?
Yep.
Can you see me now? All right. So this is a general volatility this is what it is. So if this is what they want you to believe, that markets are always going up over the long haul, they are absolutely correct. Warren Buffett says invest for the long haul. Everybody says invest for the long haul. And then, but really what happens is this right here, up, down, up, down, up, down. And, we love this period right here. We love these up periods. Okay. Every time this happens, it's party like it's 1999, especially right here. This is the party time, right? This is when we really get super pumped. And this is where we're at right now. We're in party till 1999. But what happens next is always a fallout. And when we get to fallout, this is called volatility, right? This is where people lose to volatility. When this period happens, you might think all day long that you want to ride this long term. I don't care if it's a 401k. I don't care if it's you're buying stock in your Robinhood account or whatever account you have. When this happens and the market drops 20%, and I want everybody to remember this. This is very easy to gauge. Remember last year, March. Remember the market went down? So remember what you felt like when you first heard the market was down 20%. That triggered a thing called fear. Okay, so that was the first trigger. But then it went down 30%. And we bottomed out in March. Actually, I think it was April, about 35%. But when 30% kicks in, reality sets in. And what is reality? Oh my God, I just lost my job. How many people lost their job last March, April, May? Just look at unemployment numbers, folks. A whole lot. That created a whole lot of fear, and it created a lot of reality. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So what was the most common thing people do when the market goes down, fear kicks in reality then happens? Sell. Oh my God, we got to sell. I'm going to need that money. I can't lose anymore. And it could go down to zero. We could lose everything. Okay. That happened in 2008. That happened in just last March. So we sell. And when you sell, there's this unique little thing called the drawdown effect. Okay. And I'm just going to use one number. The drawdown effect is quite simple. You guys know this. If we lose 50%, like we did in, let's just pretend here is 50% loss, it takes 100% to get back what you lost. If we lose 30%, I think the number's 43. I'd have to look at it again. So just to get back your 30 you lost, you have to make 43. This is why when people lose money in the market, just last March, look at your portfolio, and then the market came back. And remember when it hit the highest point, like it beat the prior year, and everybody's looking at their statements. They're like, oh my God, it's back. We made all our money back. Oh no, my statement doesn't show that I made it all back. I'm still down. That's this. Folks, this right here, these patterns, these movements down, this is volatility. It steals people's wealth. It always will, and it always has, not because you don't understand that investing for the long haul is the right thing to do and the prudent thing to do. It's because you can't beat fear, and you certainly can't beat reality, because when your kids can't eat, is it more important that your money stays in your 401k invested in the market because you got to wait for the long haul? Honey, the kids aren't going to be able to eat today. Go get ramen noodles, because you know what, honey? The advisor said I should not take the money out of the market. We got to just let it ride. It's just a paper loss, honey. Honey, it's just a paper loss. Get the ramen noodles. How many of you live in a household where your wife, and obviously I have a wife, she's the boss. That's why I'm talking like this. If I came home to my wife and I said, sweetie, don't freak out. It's just a paper loss, but you can't buy groceries unless it's ramen noodles and how much is Kraft macaroni and cheese now? Maybe you can get that, but only if you get it on sale, sweetie. Like, are you okay? What is she going to say? Absolutely not. Sell the damn stocks, sell the mutual funds, and put food on the table for your family. You're the provider. That's what my wife would say. I don't know. Anyone have a different household that maybe would say different? Like, honey, it's okay. It's okay. We'll eat ramen noodles. Okay. We'll drink the tap water as long as we have to. Milk, we don't need milk, sweetie. It's okay. Just leave the stocks in the 401k. Don't you dare touch those 401k stocks. Sorry. Gotta have some fun with this.
Absolutely. And in reality, like I said earlier, when things turn down, that's when millionaires are created, and that's when millionaires become billionaires. And, when there's blood on the streets, like I was saying, that's when you can make a lot of money. And keep in mind, guys, when these things happen, right, when there's downturns in real estate specifically, we create win-win situations, because people are going to lose their homes. There are going to be foreclosures that are occurring. But how would you like to be able to go find somebody that's financially struggling, that's about to lose their home and be kicked out on the streets, and come up with a solution for them that not only allows them to gracefully and respectfully leave that home, but also put a few $1,000s in their pocket for them and their family that they can then use to go use as a down payment on a house that they can now rent that's more affordable for them. How many of you like the sound of that? That's what real estate investors do. We create win-win situations that help other people. We find solutions. Real estate investors are solution makers. That's what we do, plain and simple. And there's going to be a lot of that coming up. So just be ready for it. And that's what we're preparing you for. Number 3, taxes. We've already kind of beat this up a little bit. I think everybody, it's front and center in front of everybody right now. I don't know if there's any truth to it. Somebody told me Yellen was yapping about possibly putting an 80% tax on crypto profits. I'm not saying that. It's just something that was rumoring around earlier on some of the message boards, but taxes are coming and they're coming hard. So just be ready for it. I think we talked about that, Chris. You good?
Just yesterday, we had a CPA, a very well-known CPA on talking about it. And he was saying, boy, they're coming after a lot of things. They're coming after the step up in basis. They're coming after your money for legacy. They're coming after your estate. Like, don't make any two ways about it. They got to find a way to pay all this debt back. And it isn't going to be because they're going to work any harder. It's because they're going to make you work harder and then tax you in all the ways possible. So listen, that's not you, it's me, it's Steven, it's all of us, but we can get ahead of this and protect that. These 3 things, your 3 enemies, you can beat every one of them like a ninja. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that.
Legally, ethically, and honestly.
Yeah. Very important. Legally, ethically, 100%. And what was the last one, Steven?
Honest. Being honest.
Honestly, of course. Honesty is always the primary thing.
All right. So what is the solution? Well, this is what the Money School Essentials class is all about, creating wealth multiple ways. So during the 3-day training coming up next weekend, we're going to dive into every single one of these topics. Everything from single family to commercial, mobile home parks, buying notes, stocks, crypto, vacant land developments, flipping land, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, private funds, private lendings, becoming the bank. And I'm sure I'm missing some stuff here, but these are all different strategies for beating those 3 enemies and increasing your wealth. Have you guys ever heard of something called multiple streams of income? Let me tell you, when you start creating multiple streams of income, meaning you don't just have money come from your primary job, you have money coming from all kinds of different sources. Maybe the work that you do normally, maybe some investment properties, maybe some stock investments, maybe some private lending that you're doing. There's lots of different ways to create passive income, but the more passive income you can create, and when this was really highlighted was this last year. I mean, how many people lost their jobs and then had nothing else coming in? How would you have felt if you had lost your job, but you knew you had other sources of income coming in no matter what was happening in the economy or the rest of the world? And that's what we're going to, that's what we do. That's what Chris and myself does. And that's what we're going to teach you guys to start doing as well. If you're not already, if you are already doing it, how to increase that and take it to the next level. So what I want to do real fast, Chris, is I'm going to share this screen and I want to bring up and show some of the speakers and experts that we're going to have next weekend at the class with us. Is that cool?
That's fine. Yeah.
All right. So check this out. Let me reshare here.
Yeah, because listen, as much as I'm saying, the markets are going to go down, you got to understand, even right now, while the markets are high, there's tons of pockets of opportunity, commercial real estate or, mobile home parks. And sorry to steal the screen. I was just waiting for you to pull this up, but I mean, these are all great places. And a lot of people are like, man, I don't want to invest. I don't want to own a mobile home park and get those calls. I don't want to do commercial. I don't know anything about that. You don't have to be the person owning it, but you can be the bank on it. You can just directly invest in it in a first secured position, just like the bank does, just like all the wealthy people do. Folks, they're not working harder. They're working smarter, and you need to work smarter too. And all of our speakers at this 3-day, believe me, they will show you how to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, absolutely. So those of you that want to attend the training, what you'll do is you'll go to this website, moneyschooltraining.com/registration. As you see up here, it'll give you all the details. You can click on what I just did. Oh, here we go. Oh, our marketing team.
All the pop-ups.
Here we go. All right.
Pop-ups. So like potholes.
Got you with that one. So, all right. So you go to this, you hit reserve your seat. It'll take you to the screen. Oh, and by the way, if we didn't mention, this class is not $2,000 like we used to do it for live. Because it's virtual, we're able to give it to you for the entire huge price tag of $297. So,
no, that's very price.
So I hope you guys can appreciate that. Again, we would do this class for free. Actually, Chris has a really fun little video on that. Maybe we can do during one of the transitions here in a minute. But, you know, if we give you something free, people treat it like it's free. They don't show up or they don't pay attention or they don't care. So we put a few $100 price tag on it. You're going to get thousands of dollars worth of value. The last one we did, I was on the phone with a student right before it started. And I was just telling him, like, we were talking about money multiplier. And I'm like, hey, listen, we got a 3-day training. It starts tomorrow. I was like, listen, it's $297. I think it's worth it. You know, it's pretty cool. We teach a lot of really cool strategies, and just briefly mention it to him. He decided to join us. He lives out in California. He came on, he spent the 3 days. Chris, you saw he probably wouldn't mind me. His name's James Kelly. He sent us an email, and we've talked to him since. He was like, literally, Steven could not have undersold that thing any more than he did to me. Like, this was by far the best 3-day training I've ever seen, been to, or witnessed in my life. And that's what we love to hear. We want to under promise and over deliver on everything that we do. So I promise you, those of you that are attending this, you're going to absolutely get every dollar out. And that's probably why we have students that do it 3, 4, 5 times and just keep taking it every time we offer it.
Yeah. One thing about this 3-day training, just so you all know, like, listen, I'm not trying to toot our horn or anything, but we've literally created something here that no one's ever created. I'm on the phone yesterday with the company that does all the marketing for a little known guy, but he's tall. His name's Tony Robbins. They do all Tony Robbins events. I was brought onto a call to tell this company that puts all Tony's events on what we do with money, because they were intrigued on all this stuff. They're hearing about it and they're like, wow, that is something that the market really needs. And I think we can do something with this. So fingers crossed. But listen, folks, if we're getting noticed with our 3-day silly little event teaching how to take back control of your money by people that are running Tony Robbins events, we're on to something here, folks. And you are our founding like members. You're the people that are just finding this with us. But literally, don't make no two ways about this. This 3-day event is life-changing stuff. Tonight's life-changing stuff, but we have 3 days with you to really dive in on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to
Where are the speakers? Here we go.
Here we go. All right. So we'll briefly hit this. I know we're running a little behind already. So Chris, I know. So Jack Bosch is the #1 land flipper to teach you how to go find vacant land. Flip that land before you do anything. So we're not developing, but what's he say? He says, if you don't like
no termites, no toilets, no tenants.
Yeah, no termites, no toilets, and no tenants. So if you like that idea, you do not want to miss when Jack comes on to do his thing. And I know, Chris, you're going through his training right now as well.
Yeah, we went through it. We've already done, I think, 4 mailings. I think we have 8 properties under contract, 3 of them closing in the next couple of weeks. Folks, listen, like, I don't bring speakers on unless I know for sure what they do works. I put my money where my mouth is. Me and Dimitri here in our office bought into the program. Dimitri's just crushing it right now with it. And all we're doing is literally just doing exactly what Jack's team is teaching us to do. So we're going to have him teach you all about land flipping and how you don't have to deal with tenants, termites, or toilets. And when I heard that, I'm like, I'm in.
Absolutely. You got this handsome son of a bitch right here. I don't know who that guy is. Then we got, who is that? Look, that's proof. That's proof that I can, what's the,
rock the suit.
Rock his suit. All right. So Chris Rude, America's #1 wholesaler and mobile home park guru. This guy is just unbelievable. If you don't know Chris Rude, you're gonna have your socks blown off. I don't know what the word is for that.
That's for sure. The last 3 days, he just crushed it on mobile home parks. And that's what he's going to talk about. He might talk about wholesaling a little bit, but he's thinking mobile home parks are a much grander way to teach. And that's what he's really going to talk about, is the opportunities in affordable housing right now with what might be coming. And he's going to show you how to make a silly amount of money directly or indirectly. You can buy the mobile home parks, or you can just invest in mobile home parks and share in the returns on all of it.
Yeah, and we actually added, I don't know if you know this, Chris, but Rude is going to concentrate on mobile home parks and do his thing with that. And we actually have Irving coming on with Andrew to do wholesaling. So we're actually covering both.
Awesome.
Gonna be really good. So Spencer Montgomery is our professional expert when it comes to cryptocurrency. The guy is unbelievably intelligent when it comes to that. And Spencer will also be joining us for one of the bonus sessions as well, where he can just be unfiltered, not recorded, and go off. Sodi is our resident expert. Just brief introduction on Sodi, Chris, just because I think it's really cool, his story. He was a professional trader turned entrepreneur and joined the Money Club to run our stock trading and options program, 1010, teaching all kinds of strategies on hedging and options trading. And I know you guys are doing a lot with futures now as well. So Sodi will be coming on and doing a session, as well as he'll be involved in one of the bonus sessions as well. Kevin Shortell, the #1 note investor in the country. So Kevin's been doing notes for many, 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 many years. So he'll teach you how you can start buying mortgage notes. Again, controlling real estate without actually dealing with real estate. Passive income, passive multiple strings of income. Brent Kessler, you know, he's the godfather when it comes to the money multiplier. So Brent is Chris and mine's mentor when it comes to infinite banking and the money multiplier, CEO and founder of Money Multiplier. So he's actually coming on to give a very powerful advanced training. This is new. So this is new. So in the past, Brent has come on and he's given the standard introduction to Money Multiplier, what it is. But guess what? Chris and I are going to do that tonight with you to free up an extra 90 minutes on the 3-day so we can get advanced with you. So Brent's coming on and teach some really, really cool advanced topics on the Money Multiplier and infinite banking. Brent Carlson is the founder and CEO of a company that's going to teach you about taxes, LLCs, again, going into protection, legacy, and just does an absolutely incredible job out of Vegas. His company is Corporate Capital. And then Matthew Sullivan, just a character. He's got that cool accent. So I like Matt for that. But Matthew has a really, really cool, and in just a second, we're going to teach you a little bit about HELOCs and how you can use, again, turning your home into an asset instead of a liability, how to have your home actually start paying you income on a monthly basis. And if you can't qualify or don't want to use a HELOC, you know, because with a HELOC, you have a payment you got to make. It's debt. If you don't want to have that debt, Matt Sullivan has one of the unique alternatives I've ever seen in my life. In his company, Quantum RE, how to tap into the equity in your home without having any debt, without using an HELOC. So very, very powerful.
I love that. When I saw that, I'm just like, oh my God, our people need to know how to tap into that lazy money sitting on their couch, which is, i.e. your equity in your house, without creating any debt or monthly payments and no qualifications. And the only thing you give up is future appreciation of your property, which doesn't even exist today. It's phenomenal. You have to learn about that, because honestly, like, one of the things, you know, we talk about a lot is getting your money working for you. And a lot of people, many of you on here, out of the 150 people we have on here, many of you have equity in your homes. All of us do. Our houses have all gone up in value. We're in a booming real estate market right now. So when you've got that equity, we need to extract that equity and put that money to work. Otherwise, that equity is just lazy money sitting on your couch, and it's just sucking you dry, eating your potato chips and your soda. Like, make that money go to work, but you have to learn how to do that in order to make it go out there. And yeah, that brings right to this slide. I love this little gray house with the red door. And I don't remember where this one came from, but this is one of the houses I think one of our students did. And, you know, it's a perfect example. Like, this might be the house that we're talking about. You know, this might be your house. This might be one of your investment properties. But if that house has equity in it, that equity, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking their house is an asset. They also think that, you know, their rental or their house that they own as an investment property is an asset. Your house, primary house especially, and any of the real estate you own is not an asset until you make it an asset. It's a liability. It costs you money, which makes it a liability. To turn this house right here, this is your primary house, into an asset instead of a liability, all you need to do is make it earn income. How do you make it earn income? Easy. Extract the equity, that lazy money, and send that money to work. And how do you put that money to work? That's a lot of things. Privatized banking, which we're going to talk about in a very short while here. Or how about crypto? Okay, using crypto. How about using the 10-10 trading strategy?
Become a private lender.
Or become the bank, like our hats say. listen, like a lot of people were mentioning earlier about raising money in that. Listen, there's always two people out there. There's the heads and the tails of people, okay? Just like a coin. The heads are people that have money. People that have money have a problem just like everybody else. They want to make more money. People that need money are the tails. Their problem is they need money to make money. So if all we can do is just bring the heads and the tails together and teach the edge of the coin, we can basically show you how to raise a silly amount of private money. We've literally created something that we're going to talk about at the 3-day. Actually, we'll get into it tonight. The Private Money Club, where we're literally, if any of you know eHarmony, like the dating site, you know how like, you know, one person puts a profile up saying what they want, another person puts a profile up, the two of them come together and get married and live on, you know, happily ever after. Well, we created that for money. We created the eHarmony for money. It's called the Private Money Club, a community of lenders and borrowers in a systemized process to get them connected so they can live happily ever after, making money and providing money by being the bank or by borrowing from other people's banks. Like, it's phenomenal. These are the things you need to understand. Exactly, Chris. Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everybody should have read that book. And if you didn't, shame on you. And if you did, read it again, because that book talks all about real assets and good liabilities, or I'm sorry, good debt. So you gotta understand this stuff. Here it is. Like, just take and do the math. Let's say, and Joseph, we got a guest speaker here, Joseph, and this is his topic, equity. Joseph is the master of disaster when it comes to equity in homes. He has found ways that I've never thought of to use equity in homes. But like, look at this. Let's say you got $100,000 home equity line of credit. And that 100 grand is just that lazy money in your house that it's appreciated, not with you doing anything else. It's just gone up in value. Let's say we take a home equity line out and that home equity line costs you 5%. That means it's $5,000 a year in interest you're going to pay or $416 every month. So pay attention, folks. This is napkin stuff. I want you to envision yourself meeting with somebody and all you have is a napkin to present it. This is what you do. So if you had 100 grand, it cost you $416 a month to borrow that 100 grand. Okay. That's the person that has the money, but they want to make money. And then the other person is the tails, the person that needs money. They present an opportunity that solves the person with the home equity line of credit's problem, and they show them how to make money out of thin air. How many of you want to make money out of thin air? Seriously, can I get yes or amen? I want to make money out of thin air. How many of you want to make money out of thin air? There you go. Jade does. Okay. And okay. All right.
Hey, Chris, real fast. While they're responding on there, keep in mind too, if you don't own a home or you don't have equity in it right now, think about who you know that does own a home, does have equity, and go teach them this strategy and let them become that private money lender for the deals that you're going to do, so you can create that cash flow and create that income so you can go out and buy your own home and do this yourself.
Exactly. Like, think of my mom. Like, I might not have had a house, but my mom has that house that I grew up in, that little 2-bedroom, 700 square foot house. Yeah, that's got equity in it because mom's been paying the house down and I helped her do that. But now we got all this equity. She's got to put that money to work, but she doesn't know how. So I just grab a napkin and I say, Mom, if you had $100,000 in equity in your house and you got a $100,000 home equity line and we take it all out, Mom, that's going to cost you $416. But then we got Joe over here who's got a real estate deal and he needs $100,000 to buy this real estate deal. Mom, he's going to put you in a first secured position on that deal, and he's going to pay you 10% interest on your money every month. You're going to get a paycheck. So Mom, when you walk out to that mailbox, you're going to open it up, and every month on the same day, because Joe's going to set up a bill pay on the 5th day of the month, you're going to walk out there and you're going to grab a check for $833. Now let's just do the math here, folks. This is not complicated stuff. 833 minus 416.67 is what? I tricked you. It's double. You just doubled your money. Okay. She actually made $416.67 on money that was created out of thin air. It truly was. She's just making the spread. That 5% that she's paying to the bank on that $100,000, that was just money that was in her house. It was her equity. She didn't work for it. It just happened over time. But what she learned because of her son and because of all of you, you could do the same thing, is how to make that money go to work, those little marching green men. And she gave those little marching green men orders to go there and park themselves in Joseph's attorney's escrow or a title company escrow account until he closes. And when he closes, she said, marching men, don't you dare go into Joseph's bank account until there's a first lien position signed, dated, and recorded, so that if Joseph doesn't pay me my marching men every month on the 5th day of the month, I'm taking that property back. This is what banks do every single day, folks. And they do it with the money you deposit there. Why shouldn't you be doing the same darn thing? But if you learned at the 3-day what Quantum RE can do, let's change these numbers. Imagine that $100,000 home equity line of credit, but get rid of the 5. You don't owe 5% anymore. It's kind of really now money falling out of the sky. You just extracted the equity out, but you don't have any debt and you don't have a monthly check. So now how much money would you make if you used Quantum RE? $833. That's right, folks. How many of you could pay your car payment with $833 a month? How many of you could buy or pay for your car payment and get some ramen noodles and maybe some Oatly oat milk? I bet you a lot of you. That's money made out of thin air. That's making your money work for you. Folks, listen, this is what you need to learn. The same thing for hidden equity works for 401ks and a lot of other things. This is just your money sitting there. Here's the numbers. Stephen, can I do this one? I'm on a roll here, man.
Yeah.
I love this. This 401k, there's a lot of money sitting in home equity or in equity in your houses, but you know where most of the money is? In the tune of about, what is it, 44 trillion, Stephen?
Oh yeah, the $1 trillion source.
The $1 trillion source. 44 trillion is sitting in employer-sponsored retirement plans. And you know what people don't know how to do? Move that money. They think that their 401k is only for that small little basket of funds that they invest in. And most of you and most people I meet invest all of it in those darn target date funds. Well, the advisor said that when I retire in 2025, this fund is going to self-adjust and all this fancy stuff. So I just put it all in that one. What you don't know is that advisor's making more money off of that target fund because it's a higher fee. Why? Less work on you. You don't need a bunch of funds. You just need one higher fee. It's a game, folks. I used to do it. I was an advisor. But like, what if, just what if, you actually believed anything we're telling you and you said, you know what, I think the market is at a high point. You got out of the market in your 401k. You took a loan from your 401k and you lent it to that same old guy, Joseph here, who you're going to meet in just a second. And Joseph then takes that money, buys a real estate deal, pays you 10% on that money. In your 401k, when you take a loan, do you have to pay that loan back? Yes. What else do you have to pay? Interest. When you take a loan from your 401k, you have to pay it back with interest. But here's the difference between the home equity line and the 401k. The home equity line, the interest went to who? Can anyone tell me who the interest went to in your home equity line? Did you say the bank? Anyone that says the bank, you win. I don't have anything to give you, but the bank is the answer. Your 401k. Can anyone tell me when you pay your 401k back, or actually I should say when Joseph writes the checks that pay your 401k back, who keeps the interest? Anyone saying I do? That's right, Jade. You do. You get the interest. So now all of a sudden you've become the bank, and now the money you're making, that spread, all sits in your bank. So now you guys liking this? And we're going to go even further in a little bit where we're going to show you not just how you can be the bank, keep the interest, but we're going to show you how to make uninterrupted compound interest on all of the money without working any harder. These are just minimal things that you have to change and do that are not hard, that the Private Money Club and the Money School will all help you to do. But you just gotta start thinking different. If everybody else is plowing their money into the market, do you ever think that maybe the right thing to do would be to do the opposite of the herd? Or do you just want to follow the herd off the cliff? Listen, I hate to say this, but sometimes we have to draw a line in the sand. And we have to make some hard decisions. Are we going to do what everybody tells us to do and conform to what everybody else wants our life to look like and tells us our life is going to look like? Or are we going to create the life we actually want, the dreams we actually want to fulfill? Are we going to create the financial future we actually want to have? Because there's a massive difference. That line in the sand is one thing. You have to decide, are you going to conform or are you going to create? Because the difference between the 5%ers and the 95%, one thing. The 5% create, the 95% conform. We live in a world of conformity where everybody wants everybody else to conform to what they say to do. This is why you've been lied to about money your whole life. They've wanted you to conform. Put your money in the banks. When you get a job, put your money in the 401k. Oh, we'll give you a match, put more in. We'll give you a 4% match, but you got to put 10% in to get the 4. Conform, conform, conform. Give up control, give up control, give up control. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And if it doesn't, look around, folks. That's your future. What you're living today, and I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not what you might want. If you want to get where you want to get, you got to create it. And you can't listen to what everybody tells you and everybody around you says you need to do, because sometimes it's the opposite of what you need to do. I go on these little rants because it's so important to wake you up, because, you know, we've been going now for an hour and 46 minutes. Some of you are falling asleep. Some of you are probably having a cocktail and getting a little bit sleepy. I got to wake you up by slapping you and saying, wake up. Life doesn't have to be what they tell you it has to be. It can be anything you want. I am absolute living proof of that. Came from nothing, and I'm getting there. Not where I want to be yet, but I'm getting there by helping you all solve your problems. That's how we do this.
Awesome stuff, man. Very awesome stuff. So, as I said before, we have some bonus material that we're going to go over after the money multiplier session of tonight. So I'm going to save this rest of this presentation for that, but we're going to get into the true $1 trillion source. Employer sponsored plans, lots of money in those, except you're limited to how much your loan amount can be. You got to teach people. But what if you could take that retirement money and control the entire amount? If you have $1 million in a retirement account, what if you could grow that to $100 million and not pay a dime of taxes on any of that $999 million worth of growth? So that's what we're going to teach you when it comes to what are called self-directed retirement accounts. And one of the bonuses that those of you that are joining us for the 3-day is we actually are going to give you your self-directed IRA completely free of charge. We have a partnership with a company called Horizon Trust, where they're going to waive their $350 fee that they typically charge to set up a self-directed account. They're going to waive that $350 fee for our money school students that are attending the 3-day training. So that right there will pay for the $297 enrollment for the 3 days. We are also going to go into some examples properties that Chris has done, and we will show you some of the file vault if we have time. The file vault are all those tools that you're also going to receive for enrolling in the 3-day. And then the last thing I want to mention is MSTV. So all of you that are enrolling are going to receive a 30-day membership into MSTV. MSTV is Money School TV. This is Chris and I digging deep into our network that we've created over the last decade of investors and experts all across the country and world that we bring in and we do 15 to 20 minute interviews with. And I'll show you at the end in the bonus session. But one of those, for example, is Chris Rude. He just went off one night. He was drinking wine and he spent like 30 minutes on this episode of MSTV, just literally giving his best tips for wholesaling that he usually charges like $10,000 for this coaching. He gave it to our MSTV students. So that's in there. There's a 7-part series that gets deep into using self-directed IRAs that's in there. I mean, I could go on and on with the value and the billionaires and millionaires that we've interviewed that are in MSTV. So you get a free 30-day trial to all of that as well. And you start exposing yourself to our 2-hour group coaching call that we do, to Private Money Club that we have, and all of that and beyond. But right now, I know that we have a special guest. Is he in the studio, Chris? Is he on?
Absolutely. Joseph's been patiently sitting back here waiting. So Joseph, let's bring you up. I'm hammering away answering some questions. So let me kind of give you just a quick summary of Joseph here. So Joseph has kind of been getting around the campfire for a while. What that means, he's been coming to our events for a while. This is Joseph. And you know, he's always like, you know, there, he's paying attention, but he was a little slow to the application part. We all understand that like knowledge is important. You know, the person that said knowledge is power was a little off, because knowledge is not power. It's the application of the knowledge that's power. Joseph, you know, is a numbers guy. You're a numbers guy, right?
Yep.
That's putting it very lightly. You know, I would also, if I didn't know what he did for a living, I would have thought he was an engineer, but that's beside the point. So he always runs the numbers, and he understood some of the things we were talking about, but he just couldn't take action. So can you just tell the story a little bit about like when you first heard about some of the stuff we were doing, like what was the first things you were thinking? And then like you wanted to do it. We met him a bunch of times, but you never did it. Just tell everybody a little bit about that.
Well, it's too good to be true.
Absolutely.
So I can't believe that this is actually going to happen. That was first and foremost. And then, you know, you look at the spreadsheet and then you see the numbers, and the numbers just doesn't add up. So you do it a different way, and you do it a different way. And it still came up that this can't happen this way. But as I have clearly saw, it certainly does happen this way. And I've been enjoying it for the past year and a half, and just getting more and more into it.
So one of the things that I remember with Joseph is, he totally got it, but a lot of people, when they see it, and you're going to see it tonight, we're going to do it a totally different way than ever done. But, he saw it and he said what I said and what everybody else says, that looks too good to be true.
Absolutely.
But at what point did reality set in when you realized, holy crap, I've made a mistake?
I took out and made it be as simple as I possibly could and turned it into a bank account. That's all it is. I was looking at too much of the product instead of exactly what I was getting out of the product.
But let's take them back. Remember, we're going through this journey. Let's take them back to you made a silly mistake and you didn't realize it until you handed someone something. What happened?
Okay, so my wife wanted a new car. So I went to the dealership and tried to get her a car. So needless to say, at the end, I ended up with 2 cars because they sold me one also. And I wrote the check and I handed it to the guy. And when the salesman tried to take the check from me, I wouldn't let him have it. And he's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, I had an aha moment. Right from that day, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to give you this money and I'm never going to see it again. If only I listened to Chris and did that one extra thing, paid myself first, I would have borrowed my own money, paid myself back, got 2 cars and my money, and I would have been a lot happier.
So if a lot of this stuff that you're hearing, this one change and all this stuff is kind of going over your head, don't worry, I'm going to bring it all home soon, but I want you to hear it because it's important sometimes to understand not just what we're teaching, but how it's being used in real practice. We have a ton of clients on here, but Joseph is not just decided to start changing one thing to change his financial future. He's literally gone on a journey that literally has more than changed his financial future to the point where now he's in here all the time saying, "Hey, what can anyone got any deals? Did any new deals come in?" "Yes, Joseph, here's your deal you've been waiting for right here." We got his deal. Literally, this is the packet that we're going to teach you how to build in the 3-day, the perfect loan proposal. But you had another thing that a lot of people on here have. I hear a lot of people talking about their home equity lines of credit. Well, so you had that. Can we kind of go into that? So I'm going to draw while you talk. So okay. You had some equity in your house, right?
I did.
So I'm just going to make this is your house.
Okay.
So let's talk about your train of thought with your mathematical mind. How did you look at this whole thing?
This goes back 10 years ago. I had a duplex and Yep, I had a duplex. And then I had both doors, so they were both rental properties. And then I purchased my house. I was looking one day and looking at the interest rate and how much am I paying? And I'm like, oh, this is good. 3%. And I started doing the numbers again. And I divided it by 12 and found out that I really wasn't paying 3%. I was paying a lot more in interest. So my current house had equity in it, and I had $125,000 that I could get. And that is exactly how much my duplex had. So I took 125. Yep. And then that was the rest of my duplex that I sucked into my home equity account. And now I started paying simple interest instead of mortgage interest.
Which mortgage interest, just so everybody understands, when you get a mortgage, and all of you should really do this simple little exercise Joseph did. Look at your mortgage statement. Look at the interest and the principal. And then figure out, because you already know what your monthly payment is, figure out how much of your interest payment, how much of that makes up your total payment. If you're in the first 7 years of any mortgage, it's about 80 to 85%. And the rest goes to principal. When he saw that, he wanted to throw up. That's called the velocity of money. Banks understand the velocity of money. We don't. We just look at, oh, wow, that's a cheap interest rate. Oh my gosh, I can get a mortgage for 2.75. Sign me up. What you don't know is the bank's getting all their interest in the first 7 years, 80 to 85%. So who's getting the money? The bank, of course, but you think you won. The bank won the whole way. That's what Joseph saw.
So I took control of my money back with a simple interest instead of the mortgage interest. Now, my duplex is paid off quicker because I had 2 doors and my paycheck and my wife's paycheck paying simple interest. Now I have more equity in my house. So now I was able to get a larger equity, which was 175.
Okay. So, and that was just organically created.
Just made, just because of me paying the same way as I was doing, but paying less interest. So I was making more money.
And we're going to show this at the 3-a-day, exactly how he's done this, but he's just telling the story.
So now 175. Now, wouldn't you know that that's exactly how much I had left in my single family house now? So now I sucked in my mortgage into the simple interest again with the home equity line. And now I still have 4 doors paying it again. And then I paid off my house. Now I have a larger home equity line because I went back again and they gave me 400,000.
So you went from 125 to 400,000 in equity.
Absolutely.
By just changing the dynamic of who kept the money.
One little thing, simple interest compared to mortgage interest.
Yep. So velocity. Okay. And then what did you do?
Well, $400,000 from the bank. They're using my house as collateral, but it's really not my money. It's bank money. I didn't work for it. I didn't receive it. They just let me use it because of collateral. So this is where you came in. I have $400,000 in equity. And what do I do with it? Well, I'm going to do that one thing.
What'd you do? Well, you did this after you gave up the big check to the car dealership for those cars that he didn't want to let go because he knew at the second he gave that check to the car dealership, he just exchanged money and that money stopped working for him. And now he got in return for that big check 2 awesome vehicles that now just lost 20 to 30% when they rolled off the lot.
Yep.
That's a sickening feeling.
It certainly
you
is.
decided
Still
you wanted
today.
You wanted to change that process. So
I did.
You looked at
became my own banker.
Okay. And we're just going to write IBC, Infinite Banking Concept. So what did you do there? I'm sure it had something to do with your home equity line.
With the car?
Yeah. No, we already did the car. The car's already, you got the cars, you screwed up on that.
Yep. So I received a policy. I got a policy.
Yep. And this is what we're going to talk about in a little bit, folks. This is that specially designed, we're just going to call this is privatized banking, right? Private bank.
Yep.
And he's making 4% on his private bank plus dividends. So yours is actually 6%. I can get that number.
Yep.
Because it's already in force. So he's making 6% on his money here. How much were you making in your bank account?
1 penny for every $1,000.
Okay, whatever that. I don't
0.0001. Something to that effect.
That's how much he was making in his bank account. How many of you are making 0.000 something or divided by 2?
It was like $32 a year.
So 6% was way better than that.
Absolutely.
Okay, but so you moved some money. How did this whole thing happen?
Well, I take the money out of the equity line. Okay. I put it into the privatized banking system. Then I borrow it out of the privatized banking system.
And then it goes where? Back in your bank account?
Yes.
Okay. So you put it in here.
Yep.
And it's making 6% while it's here, but then you took the money out.
Got to move your money.
That sucks. But would you stop earning 6% when you take it? How many of you put money in your regular bank account? And then when you take the money out of your bank account that's paying you 0.001, keep getting paid 0.001 on the money you just took out of your bank? In other words, can you give your bank $1,000, take $1,000 out and still get paid interest on the 1,000? That's silly. That doesn't happen. Nope, is what Colleen said. But
this is something that when I had the aha moment, it's exactly what I was doing here with the home equity line. They let me use the money by using my house as collateral. It's the same way with the privatized banking system. They are letting me use the money and using the death benefit as collateral.
So the money you're taking out as a loan is really just an advance of your death benefit, right?
Yes, it's comparable.
So that would mean the loan technically doesn't have to be paid back, because if you don't pay the loan back, then the death benefit just goes down.
That is
and
correct.
All's good. But they charge you interest on this loan. I know. Damn insurance companies.
Yep.
Blood suckers. They charge 5% when you take that loan, even though it's your money
Right.
and it's an advance of your death benefit, they're still going to charge you interest. Them bastards.
But I'm still making 1%, and I get to write that 5% off.
Oh, that's right. Your money, all of it, even though you took it out because you took it in advance of your death benefit, if you didn't take your money, you're still earning 6%.
Took it out of the
So,
fund.
folks, 6 minus 5 is what?
1%.
Joseph's up 1%. Is 1% more than what Joseph was making in his bank? Yes. Joseph was making 0.0 whatever. I mean, that's embarrassing. Some of you probably should comment what your bank account pays, but he's making 1%, but he's using his money. So that's step number one, folks. If you don't know a place to put your money that will earn a guaranteed interest rate, and I forgot to put that, there's 4%. Is that guaranteed?
Absolutely. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed 4%. If you don't have a place where you can put your money and earn a guaranteed 4%, provide a legacy for your family if something should ever happen and you graduate a little too early, but then have access to a large portion, a large percentage of that money to use. But when you use it, you don't stop any of the interest flow. That's pretty freaking cool. But oh, darn, you got to pay interest. But how many of you would be okay earning 6 and paying 5 on money that was earning 0.001 or next to nothing? But see, it gets so much better because what'd you do next?
I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to borrow it.
Here, let's flip sides because
Okay.
I'm going to draw over here now. So he didn't stop there because there's this little someone, me, who had this little something called a real estate deal that came to a little someone called Joseph and said, Joseph, I got an opportunity and I want to solve your money problem. And he said, what do you need? And I said, Joseph, I need about, how much was it?
140.
It was like, we'll call it 140.
140 something, yeah.
Okay. And what was the address on this? Because the folks always want to fact check us here. For some reason.
It was Aurora.
Aurora.
681-861.
Shoot. Andrew, if you can, type in the address for Aurora. I can't remember.
641.
641.
Is that it?
No, I don't think so.
Nice try. It's close to that.
So Aurora in Lancaster, New York. So I just want everybody to be able to see this because this is a real deal. This is a real address and we'll get you 304. No. Anyway, Andrew will get the address for Aurora. We'll get it to you and you guys can look it up. But anyway, so I needed 140 grand. You had 140 grand, but it was here.
It was.
Could you not have lent me the money direct from here?
I could have.
You could have, but you didn't. Why?
Because I could make more money.
Right. Because Joseph figured out a little known secret of the wealthy. And he says, but I could lend direct from my home equity line and we could do this. But why don't I just take the money, put it into this silly privatized banking policy, i.e. especially designed and engineered whole life, then loan that money out to Chris. Now I'm making money twice. How much did you charge me interest wise?
10% off.
10% he charged. Yeah, he gave me a deal. Only charged me 10% because he liked me. So he's making 10. Now let's do the math. He's making 6 over here, cost him 5. So he's making a spread of 1. If he were to lend the money direct to me for this house right here from this bank account, like he gave me the money here, how much is he making? 11%. So Joseph could have been up 11%. But see, here is where he becomes a mathematician, way smarter. He didn't do that. What did you do?
I have an LLC. And the LLC needs to have the money in it. So it's going to borrow it from me.
So you took the money from your personal private bank and you lent it to your LLC.
That is correct.
Okay, so you created a note and you lent it to your LLC. And what interest rate did you charge?
8%.
Charge 8%. Yep. You probably, some of you are probably like, why the hell would you do that? Well, why would you do that, Joe?
Because now my business can write off the 8%.
Oh, tax write-off.
And on 150,000, which would go into the LLC, that's $1,000 a month. So that pays my bank account $1,000 a month.
Okay. So that pisses off Uncle Sam, right? I'm just trying to draw the Uncle Sam up here. So this is Sam. He's mad because you're getting a tax write-off.
Yep.
Okay. So that's how much was that?
$1,000 a month at 150 at 8%.
Okay. $1,000 a month.
Correct. To me.
Okay. That's going back to your bank account.
Correct.
From your LLC bank
That's
account.
true.
And you get a tax write-off in the middle.
Yep, writing off 8%.
And then how much was I paying?
I'm writing off 5% here too, though.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Check with your CPA because we're not CPAs, but we've done it. This 5% interest that you're paying on the loan from your death benefit, i.e. the insurance company, yeah, that's a tax write-off too. Okay, so we got 2 tax write-offs. Joseph's getting $1,000. He's making 11% so far. He hasn't worked any harder, has he? He did some math and he met us. But then you charged me 10.
That's
How much
correct.
was I paying you?
10%. That would be
14, what's 14 divided?
It was 1461, I think, something to
1461?
1261 or something to that effect.
1261. I don't remember what it was.
some number, yeah.
1261. So 1261, he was already getting 1,000. So now he puts on another $261, pure arbitrage. Now I know that's a lot of numbers, and we probably lost some of you right around here, but like, how many of you would be okay just making 1% on money that is not in your bank account anymore? All of you. How many of you would be okay making 11% just by doing one additional step and lending money to somebody that needs money for a real estate deal in a first secured, just like your bank does every single day? Yep. Yeah, that's pretty sweet here. And how many of you like paying Uncle Sam? No one. So you can get some tax write-offs here in the process. Folks, this is a lot of numbers here. We're going to teach this whole thing in the 3-day, and we're going to do a training on it. But I just want you to understand, this is just what Joseph did. The guy that thought it was too good to be true. The guy that literally took, how long did it take you to actually do this?
Actually get the policy?
Yeah.
Oh, it took almost 2 years.
2 years.
I hate to admit that, but it's true. But I do have one thing to say about all this. Remember, it all started with free money because it came from my home equity line. I didn't work for that money. So this 2,000 or wherever you said 1,000 here, that all came from free money. So all those numbers, that's infinity.
Folks, all I want you to understand is like everything, we've been taking you on a journey. None of you know this. You thought we're just rambling around about a bunch of different stuff, but you know how we were talking about money mindset first. We talked about the market patterns. Then we brought you to home equity lines of credit. Remember the hidden equity sitting in your house, that money on your couch. Okay. We're literally getting you ready for what Joseph was doing here. Then what we do is we talked about like, well, you actually haven't seen the privatized bank, but I think we're going there soon, Stephen. We talked about that and we showed you how now you can make money on money that doesn't have to sit in your account anymore. See, the biggest problem a lot of us make is we think to make money, we got to put our money somewhere and leave it sit because, oh God, if we touch that money, we stop the interest flow. If I put money in the stock market and I take it out, I stop the returns. If I put money in a CD and I take it out, oh gosh, I stop the returns. Mm-hmm. This is the only place, I think it is the only guaranteed place where you can actually put your money and do this and get paid on your money, even when you have access and control to use that money. And that's what enabled Joseph here to do what you just saw. This is not possible any other way. Any other way, and all we would have done is you get rid of all this nonsense. He would have just lent money from his home equity line of credit. He would have made 1261 minus whatever his interest rate is here. He would have made the spread.
Maybe 10, that would have been 8%.
Maybe it was, I don't know.
Maybe 5%.
$500, $600. Maybe we'll give you the credit.
Yep.
He might have made 600. Didn't he make a lot more than 600 just by changing that one thing he did?
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? Like you can do this. None of you would be upset making $600 on money that's sitting in your house. But how about you take an additional step and you learn a few extra steps, and now you make not 600, you make, I don't know what it was, 1261 plus whatever. 1,000. You make a hell of a lot more than that by just learning what we're going to show you here and what we're going to show you in the 3-day. So Joseph, thank you so very much, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Joseph. Love seeing that. It's amazing, you know?
And that wasn't rehearsed, folks. We didn't rehearse at all. He showed up, he cracked a beer, he's sitting over there watching. And I didn't know what we were going to talk about. I'm being honest.
All right, so we have Joel next.
Awesome. Joel, is he on?
Yeah, I believe so. So Joel's going to come on and we're going to just talk a little bit about taxes. Because again, that's so very important. It's one of the 3 enemies out there. As soon as Joel's done, we are then going to roll right into the privatized banking money multiplier IBC training.
And Joel, thanks for joining us. You blew people's minds yesterday. Honestly, like I'm still hearing about it and people are still commenting when we sent that recording out. So thank you. And I'm glad you're here back because this is a really important topic. So I'm just going to turn it over and let you roll and whatever you want to talk about, because taxes are a problem.
Taxes are a problem. They're always a problem. Okay. First, let me just tell everyone there was an extension. So, you know, May 17th is our dreaded deadline, if you want to call it that. Don't be afraid of filing extensions. I think extensions are great things. I actually do my taxes around October 14th, if you'd like to know. So just make sure you send them in. You don't want to get penalized for something so simple and so easy as mailing in an extension. I also want to say just a couple things in regards to 2020 tax returns, if I can, real quick, just so people know, at least they get something right that they can take away right now. A couple things is there are lots of acts that were passed last year and the beginning of this year that can help you with your taxes. For example, if you took money out of your 401k, you have the ability to pay that back over a 3-year period rather than recognizing all the income this year. It allows for a little bit of advantageous play, possibly with some cash flow. If you had unemployment insurance under $10,000, that's largely not going to be recognized as income. So there are some things that did pass that I would just simply advise you to sit down with whoever your tax preparer is and go over the acts and make sure that you're not overpaying for something as silly as your tax preparer not clicking an appropriate button within their tax software. Not to out my people, so to speak. But I want you to save money. I want to put it back in your pocket. I find, especially people that are first getting into business, the beautiful thing about getting into business is it's very exciting. And the excitement kind of creates behaviors. It pushes you to do things, to act. But I also find that accounting, I mean, it may not be people's favorite thing to do, shall we say. So sometimes the accidental entrepreneur who's just doing something and finds it successful and they want to keep doing it and it's starting to bring them in quite a bit of money, they kind of let the responsibility of being a business owner kind of to the side. And some of the things that I like to talk about are people's mindsets when it comes to business, how to track your money, how to get the most out of deductions, how you can kind of connect things that you're going to pay for anyway to your business and then get a deduction for them. Like I would imagine that most people I am talking to right now, you have a car, you have internet at your home, you have a computer, you have electronics, all over the place in your house. By the way, I'm always talking about Chris about his board in the back that he just used. I was frantically scratching notes on my own personal pad of what you guys were talking about. But you have all those things, and whether or not you're self-employed or just an employee, of somewhere, you may love your job. That's great. But as soon as you unlock the self-employed world, all those things that you're paying for anyway, to the extent that I can start connecting those to my business, I'm going to start getting a deduction for it. So now the IRS is paying me to drive my car. Now the IRS is paying me to use my phone. Now the IRS is paying me to go buy a home computer, hook up the internet, right? Buy some tablets. That's the beauty of becoming self-employed. To the extent I can connect things, I get deductions for them. And believe me, there are massive amounts of deductions for the self-employed. And if you want to save on taxes, that is a great, great way to do it. I guess the other thing I would tell you is, if I can go back to the accidental entrepreneur for a second, is that keeping track of your money as well, kind of the ins and outs of how things are flowing from a cash flow perspective, is really going to help you and help the outcome of your own tax return. Oftentimes I like to say death or taxes are death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? Oftentimes it's these little teeny things that you're not doing that when you add them all up becomes a really, really big thing. So I want to talk to you a little bit about, how to keep support for what you're doing, how to keep track, how to organize some of your information to get the best result within your tax return. So those are some of the things I guess I'm looking forward to talking about, but mostly I want people to save money. That's kind of my big thing. I just want you to save money. So just remember that connection process. If you're connecting things that you're paying for anyway inside your business, it's going to be a great way for you to keep money. By the way, Stephen, how much time do I have? Can I go into a bunch of other stuff, or what would you like?
Yeah, we got a few more minutes for you. Absolutely.
Okay.
I appreciate you being here. You can, I'm sure you could talk for hours with your knowledge, but yeah, just the most important things right now for people that maybe they can start doing, right away. That'll help.
Okay, great. Yeah. So let me, maybe I can talk just a couple of minutes about your mindset. And that is this. So when I go out and I make money for my business, there's two sides to this coin. Okay. When I'm bringing money in, my mindset is who do I have to share that money with? And what I mean by that is I have this wonderful little partner. I call him wonderful very sarcastically, which is the IRS, that when let's say I sell a product, let's say I sold a product for $200,000, it cost me $100,000. Let's say it was real estate, for example. I made $100 grand. What do I owe off of that 100 grand to the IRS? Well, that's my effective tax rate, whatever that may be. Let's say it's 20%. So when I'm making money, and my mindset has to be that, okay, a portion of this money I may have to pay to the government or my partner. But what I really like to look at is the flip side of that. And that is when I'm buying something for my business, whether that be, I don't know, subscriptions, fees, professional services, aids to help me with my business, computers, office supplies, insurance, maybe business interest, whatever the case may be. But if I go out, let's say I buy an iPad. I'm a tech guy. I love tech. That's why I commented on Chris's board. Let's say I go out and I buy an iPad, for example, and it cost me $1,500. And Apple, the wonderful company that they are, never puts anything on sale, which unfortunate for me is, I like to buy, I'm an accountant. You can't take the conservative nature. My wife calls me cheap. Okay. I think that's a little harsh, but let's say conservative nature of the accountant, you can't take it out of me. So when I go into the Apple store and I see a $1,500 tablet that I really want, I want it on sale. So what do? I buy it for my business. I'm going to use it inside my business. So while Apple doesn't put it on sale, I'm going to take that $1,500 tablet. I'm going to deduct it inside my tax return. What does that mean? That means that 20% of that effective tax rate that I have says that I'm going to save $300 off of that iPad. Why? Because Uncle Sam, that wonderful little partner that may end up taking a little bit of money from the income that I make, is going to end up contributing money into what I buy for my business. So this is the mindset I want you to have. If I'm going out there and I am buying something for my business, it's on sale. Everything is on sale. If it's for my business, it's on sale. Why? Because again, I'm going to write it off. Uncle Sam is going to come in and donate a little bit of money to that purchase, which I love. Hey, I love getting stuff on sale. So just remember that mindset issue. So right now, as you're looking at your business, I would say, okay, what are some of the things that I need? Remember that I'm going to write those off. So what does it really cost me? And what is the cash outflow that I may actually have? Secondly, if I'm going to leave you with maybe 2 or 3 quick takeaways, is make sure you're organizing your finances every month. Because if you don't know where you're at, it's very, very difficult to make decisions moving forward. You've got to know what kind of cash you have at play. Whether that's taking money out of your personal bank, for example, how much is there? How can I utilize it? Whether or not you're getting money from other sources, wages, or whatever the case may be, you have to know what your pile of money is that you want to work with moving forward. So organizing your information is super important, as well as, I get lots of people, you can't see it, but there's these chairs right over here where people come in and sit in my office and talk to me about taxes. And if they come in and they say, hey, Joel, I want to do some tax planning. I say, awesome, let's get to it. Let's get at it. Okay, give me your numbers. And they say, well, I don't really know what they are. How hard is it going to be for me to actually do some tax planning with you or save you money? So don't die by 1,000 paper cuts. Keep your information and do it every month. I know it's kind of a drag, or it can be a drag, but I can probably guarantee that after a little while, it's going to get really easy. You're going to end up really liking it and really loving it, because that information is going to tell you a great story about your business.
And one thing, I got 2 questions after this, but Joel, you're going to be at the 3-day event talking, going much into the taxes too. So everybody, if you're going to join us for the 3-day, Joel's going to be there really lighting it up and really showing you some things that you got to see. But I got 2 simple questions. Number 1, if we want to buy out that unwanted partner from our company, the IRS, how do we buy them out? There's got to be a way for us to buy the IRS.
The way you buy them out is through strategic tax planning. Okay, so for example, I'll give you just a basic, simple example. I'm in the construction business, right? So I'm going from build to build, property to property. I'm driving around. I had a great year. I mean, the housing market is booming. Now, through my normal deductions and normal operations, I was able to, get my income, let's say, down to about $100,000. Well, what happens then if I want to kick my partner out because I don't want to pay tax on that $100,000. Now I look out the window and I'm driving for whatever reason, a 1995 Ford F-150 that has about 200,000 miles on it. And I need something new in order to expand my business. Maybe I go out and I buy a depreciable asset, also known as a brand new truck, costs about $75,000. I get all the trims and goodies on it. Maybe I push that cost up to $85,000. I write off that whole thing that year, safeguard all that income, and I've essentially kicked my wonderful partner out of that income. So a lot of it is with strategic planning, strategic buying power, what you can do with your actual money to safeguard as much as you can, using retirement plans, for example, kicking into my own bank, reducing my income. I mean, it's really strategic tax planning to kick that partner out.
I love it. I thought the answer was going to be no, we couldn't buy that partner.
Oh, no. There's always, you're always trying to do something.
And Keith is saying, there's that one F-150. Anyone read the Millionaire Next Door? They're always talking about those F-150s, folks. There's something to it. And we're not going to get into that. But a second question I have for you, and the final one, then I'll let you get going, Joel, is, one of the big things that we talk about a lot is, if we have personal money and we start a company, I know we can do a capital contribution, but can we actually just lend money to our company at a stated interest rate of, say, 6% and get a tax write-off from our company of that 6% interest when we're paying ourselves back? Is that possible?
Yeah, so there's two. So yeah, that is actually, there's two ways to fund a company. What we call is the first one. Let's say, in fact, Chris, you and I create a company together. It's an LLC. We're going to tax as a partnership. We're super excited. There is $100,000 needed within this company in order for it to start, in order for it to operate. You and I are each going to contribute $50,000 to the company in order for it to have the cash to operate. We can do that in one of two ways. We can simply contribute the money. It's called an equity contribution, just increases our investment into the company, or you can loan that money to the company through a normal loan agreement, paying back that money to us as the owners with the stated interest rate, get the deduction for that interest that I am paying myself. And it also creates basis or at-risk dollars within the company, which isn't going to happen because you and I are operating it. But in the event we're smart and we're cash positive, but create tax losses, my at-risk dollars allows me to deduct the loss. So there's lots of things that you can do when it comes to that. And, your interactions with your business that can be very beneficial to yourself.
Look, if any of you were thinking taxes are boring, if that didn't just prove that completely wrong, that was some exciting stuff right there. So Joel, thank you so much for being with us for this.
You bet.
Event. We'll see you next week for the 3-day event.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, folks. So there you go. And I kind of just was reading some of your questions, about stuff. And, that's where that last one came from. But just, what you don't know is what hurts you sometimes, folks. And what you learn in tonight are the things that will set you free. And hey, taxes are one of the biggest eroders of wealth, along with inflation and volatility. So he's your golden ticket to show you how not to have to pay tax. I love that he said, if me and him went in business, I'm like, heck yeah, man, we're not paying the government any taxes if that was the case. However, that was just kind of made up, and maybe someday we will see. But anyway, where are we going next, Stephen? Because I think I know what we're doing next.
I think it's time to dive into the
secret wisdom.
Good stuff, man.
God, we're going to listen, folks. I want everybody to know, and I know we've lost a couple, but not many. We still got about 138 of you with us. What we're going to do next has never been done before. I'm just telling you, the presentation has, but the way me and Stephen are going to do this, totally different than we've ever done it. So you guys are in for a treat. But before we get into that treat, I want to just have some fun, and I want to share my screen here real quick, and I want to play a video, because this video is all about the wisdom you're about to learn. So let's get into it. Can you see that screen, Stephen?
Yes.
All right.
I know you've heard me say this a whole bunch of times. You can never.
No, can't see it. No.
Oh, sorry. I knew that was the case. I clicked the button too soon. So hang on. There we go. You can see it now, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I know what I did wrong. Perfect. I know you've heard me say this a whole bunch of times, but you can never hear this too many times. These are some really important things that you need to learn, and not just learn, you need to apply these in your life. No one else is going to teach you this. You've got to start seeing the big picture,
Good fortune is not going to just fall into your lap. I don't know if that's what you think is going to happen, but it isn't going to happen that way. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to do what everybody else is unwilling to do. You're going to have to grab it by its you-know-what. You get what I'm talking about. You can learn from the wealthy just like I had to, but I'm going to save you a lot of time because I've put years and years into this, and I've failed enough times where you don't have to fail. You just got to listen to me. Are you paying attention? There's a specific reason the rich keep getting richer. They know something that you and I don't know, and that's what you need to know. Do you know what I mean? Scouty, are you listening to me? You know, I'm going to take that as a yes. Now, get up and go get us a beer.
You're going to do just fine. Everybody loves orange hair. I should know. It looks great on camera. You won't mess up your lines. If you mess up your lines, Kyle will just tell you them. You practice all night for this. It's your time to shine. You can do it. I believe in you.
Look, I don't care if you're a cat person, a dog person, or a something else person, but that right there is pretty funny. But that is what we call wisdom. I don't care if you're teaching wisdom to the orange cat or to you. We are going to actually drop some serious wisdom. Andrew's here. What he's going to do while we're doing this is answer all your questions, because I guarantee you, when you see if you've never seen what we're about to do, I guarantee you a couple things. Number one, you're going to think this sounds too good to be true. The other thing you're going to do, you're going to have lots of questions, and we're going to try to get those questions out. But what we're going to give everybody the opportunity that's on here now, all 138 of you that are on here, you're all going to have the opportunity to schedule a call, and we'll answer all your questions in person. I'm reading the questions, and all of you are going to be able to schedule that call and answer questions. And then what we're also going to do tonight is we're going to show you how to take back control of your money. We're going to show you how to build wealth through your own debts and expenses by recycling and recapturing the money you're giving away to everybody else. We're going to show you how to get all the money. Listen up close. We're going to show you how to get all the money back for every single car you will ever buy, drive, and own. And we're going to show you how to create that legacy that we talked about earlier so that your future family, grandchildren, children, whatever it is, can do things that you maybe weren't able to do because of your efforts in changing one thing. So Stephen, let's dive into this. How we're going to do this is behind me. So can you see the screen pretty good?
Yeah,
you think
I can.
Maybe what we'll do, I'm going to pin this just so we don't lose the screen because it's going to be pretty important. There we go. So can everybody can see this screen, right? We're going to be using this the whole time. And here's what we're going to do. Me and Stephen are just going to interactively go back and forth through things. And the first thing I want to do before we really dive into this is I want to see what is your knowledge level? Like, how smart are you when it comes to money? So the very first thing I'd like to know, and I'm going to get to these books next, but these are just 3 great books: Second Chance, Money, Master the Game, Becoming Your Own Banker. These books all talk about what we're going to talk about tonight, including our book, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. And the reason I bring these books up is because if what I'm going to show you and what we're talking about and what Joseph just talked about is too good to be true, then why is the big guy, Tony Robbins, talking about it in his book on section 5.2? Why is Robert Kiyosaki talking about it in this book and openly talking about this all the time? And then why did R. Nelson Nash put his life up until the day he graduated forward to teaching what you're about to see? The answer is it's not too good to be true, but that's for you to decide. Now, if I had time, I was going to play this video about this bike, because our mindsets are all wrong. We need to reprogram our mindsets. So I want you to all, if anyone's listening, and Andrew, type this in, the backward bicycle. It's a video, it's a must. If you haven't seen this, you have to watch it on YouTube. It's called the backward bicycle. And what it's all about is changing one thing on a bicycle. Now I want you to look at this bike. This bike doesn't work the way your bicycle does. You've been taught in your whole life to ride a bicycle one way. You sit down on the bike, you turn the handlebars to the right, the bike goes to the right. Sit down, you turn them to the left, it goes to the left, and you push the pedals down, it goes forward, right? Stephen, is that how your bike works?
Yeah. Unless you're going fast and you turn one way and it makes it lean, but that's all motorcycle riding. So yes.
You see, Stephen's like 3 steps past just learning how to ride a bike. He's leaning it and sliding the back end out. Stephen was the guy that once he learned how to ride the bike, he was riding wheelies, doing 360s. And
yes, true.
There you go. So that was Stephen. But could Stephen ride this bike is the question. How many of you watching this right now could ride this bicycle? And listen, Keith is like, I've seen enough now. I want to ride that bike, right? We all want to ride this. It's the backward bicycle. When you get on this bike and you turn the handlebars to the right, the bike goes to the left. And you turn the handlebars to the left, the bike goes to the right. How many of you truthfully, and comment in, think you could ride the backward bicycle? Seriously, like how many of you could ride this bike that you're looking at here?
We should really get one.
We have to get one of these.
Yeah. I'd like to see Bubba ride the bicycle.
Oh, now that's a direct challenge on Bubba. And if Bubba's on here or he sees this, man, that's going to, Bubba's going to be riding this bike, folks. So if you didn't join us for earlier, we played a video with Bubba Brown, and if you missed it, I'm sorry, we're not playing it again. But yes, so right here, we got a couple of people commenting in, not at first, but with exposure, it would make it easier. Cynthia said, only if I go straight. Okay, so Susan is correct. Susan, if you couldn't do it at first, but eventually if you practiced and you kept at it, you would be able to ride this backward bicycle. Cynthia is wrong. You could not just go straight on this bike. But listen, the reason we talk about this backward bicycle here is for one reason and one reason only. The backward bicycle is your knowledge and your way you handle money. You've only been taught how to use money one way. Okay, one way is all. You've never been taught how to do what we're about to show you. It doesn't mean it's not possible. It doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means it's going to take a little work, a little change in your mindset, because what I'm telling you is what you've learned about money up to this point in your life. I'm about to debunk it and show you a completely different way that it works. And I'm going to show you that what you've learned is mostly a lie. So let's get into it. Watch the backward bicycle, but we need to test their knowledge, Stephen. So we really got to get into the knowledge on money. So the very first thing I want to know is folks, what is the definition of money? Seriously, can anyone tell me what is the definition of money? Let's try to get some of the first timers here, right? We got 134 now. We're losing a couple, but it's getting late. I get it. What is the definition of money? The first person that tells me the definition of money, we will email you the book, Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. And I know you're probably going to tell me I already have it, but that's okay. What's the definition of money? There we go. Michael nailed it right in the beginning. Money is nothing more than a means of exchange. That's all we do with money. We take money, we exchange it for goods and services. Money for food, food for money. Money for car, car for money. Money for coffee, coffee for money. That's all we do. We exchange money. So great job, Michael. If you could, in the Q&A, type in your email. We'll get you the ebook out to that. Second question, let's see about this one. We'll keep it rolling, see how fast we can get these done. Secondarily, what company in the world, I did say world, not just US, what company in the world uses compound interest? Stephen, you know the answer to this, but how many people do you think will get this? Mm-hmm. Okay, Felicia said Walmart. Okay, Freddie said Walmart uses compound interest. Okay, insurance companies, nobody. Okay, banks, all banks and all insurance companies, banks. Okay, insurance companies, banks. Common questions. We got a lot of people saying the common answers. But there was one person that got it right. People. Okay, Alex partially right. Okay, who uses compounding, or what company though? The question was what company? What company uses it? Dustin got it right. What did Dustin say, Stephen?
Nobody.
Nobody. But it's not really nobody. It's no company uses compound interest. You see, banks, the most common answer that people were commenting, what do? They charge you compound interest. What else do? They pay you compound interest. Banks do not use compound interest. Okay, insurance companies, they don't use compound interest. They charge you compound interest. In most cases, they pay you compound interest, which you're going to see. They don't use it. And the biggest reason banks and insurance companies and car dealers and everybody else, except for us, they don't use compound interest because they understand one thing. Stephen, what do banks understand that makes it so that they don't use compound interest?
What do banks understand
that makes it so they don't use compound interest? Well, what do banks do with our money?
They lend, they leverage it, they multiple ways and times, and they also have the ability to not have to have all the money that they're actually lending out all the time.
Love it. I'm just going to sum up everything you just said with one word: move. They move your money. Banks do not use compound interest because you can't move your money and earn compound interest until you learn what we're about to show you. But banks move money. Everything a bank does is about moving it. How many of you walk into your bank, you take your $100 bill and you give it to the bank teller, and you grab your little sucker that says dum-dums, but we're not going to go there. You give the bank teller your $100. What does the bank do? Do they put your $100 bill in a little box in the back with your name on it?
No.
What do? They move that money. They take that money and they move that money around. They constantly are circulating your money. So folks, this is, if banks aren't using this, then why are we taught to park our money, leave it sit, and earn compound interest? We're going to get into that. Your dollars. Stephen, are dollars worth more today or in the future? I already gave this one away earlier, but
yep, they're worth always. Your dollar is always the most valuable right now,
especially with what the government's doing.
Especially,
you can prove that. Some people sometimes when I speak live, people are like, "No, my money's worth more in the future because I'm going to grow it." No. This $100 will never be worth more today. And if you don't believe me, go back 10, 20 years ago. How many candy bars could you have bought for $1 10 years ago? How about 20 years ago? The answer is more than today. Your dollars are worth the most today. So why is it that we give up our dollars? And why is it? Well, let me ask you this one. Taxes. We just had Joel on. Okay, he's a leading tax expert. Look him up, Tax Hive. Like he's partnered with Kevin O'Leary. You guys know who he is, right? I'm sorry, Mr. Wonderful to all of you. That's probably what you know him as. Yeah, that's who works with Joel. So you think Joel knows what he's doing? Darn right. And did Joel say taxes were going down? No. Where did he say taxes were going up? Or where did he say taxes were going? Sorry, I got distracted. I just saw a black streak of a cat running down my hallway. Taxes are going up, folks. So if taxes are going up and your dollars are worth the most today, whoa, what the heck did I just do? I hit a button. Sorry, folks. Hang on. My tech guy's not in here. I think I just did a... Oh, what did I do over here? Sorry, guys. I hit a button. I hit a bunch of buttons. Holy crap, man. Did I just really mess things up? Can you fix this thing?
What did you do?
Anyway, I was on a roll here. But anyway, what we're taught to do as he's fixing my little glitch of a button, there's a little button on here that I hit and it just did that whole big mistake. So what are we taught to do? If we know taxes are going up and we know our money's worth the most today, then why is it that what we're doing with our money, damn computers, man. Why is it that what we're doing with our money is giving up control of it every day? How many of you have an employer-sponsored retirement plan? Steven, you got one of those?
No. Well, yeah. Employer-sponsored. Yes.
I'm sorry, 401k, 403b.
Yes. I sponsor my own plan. Yes. So yes.
Okay. Yeah, Steven's he's like 3 levels deep. But how many of you on here have a 401k? Lots of you. But that's because of what we've been taught our whole life. We've been taught to take our money that we make and give up control and put it into a 401. My grandmother, God rest her soul, I remember her telling me when I was a young man, she said, Chris, when you get a job, ask them if they have a 401k. And then ask them if that 401k has a match. And if they do, put your money in there because you don't want to be like Grandpa and I. And I'm like, crap, no, I don't. So what I'm going to do is when I get a job, I'm going to put my money in that 401k like Grandma said. Grandma didn't know, but that was the wisdom she was passing down. And I literally just defied the 3 things that we were just talking about. I gave up my best dollars today in exchange for future dollars, which will be weaker. Think about it. You put your money in your 401k, you wait 5, 10, 15 years, and then you take that money out and it's weaker because we already discussed that. Secondarily, I put my money in and I get a tax deduction on today's dollars so that 5, 10, 15 years in the future, I take that money out at a higher tax rate. Who's winning there? The government. Who came up with 401ks? Ted Benna. But Ted Benna doesn't believe in 401ks. He's the founder of them. Read the book 501k. Okay. He's the founder of 401ks, but he didn't like them the way the government did. The government said, wait a second, we can get people to buy into this. I'm going to get a tax deduction on my lower taxes today. Then we're going to increase taxes and people are going to make more. They're going to be in a higher tax bracket and they're going to take it out and pay us more in taxes. Sign me up.
And not only that, is you lose complete control over all of the money. 401ks allow you to invest in very little options. I mean, you might get some different funds, like an aggressive fund or a conservative fund, but you can't take that money and go buy real estate. You can't take that money and go buy crypto. Most times you can't even go and buy individual stocks or options or anything. You lose complete control.
Yeah. And the funniest thing about 401ks, or really let's just sum it up with what we've been taught to do with money, is we have been taught to do things with money that we would never, ever do with things that money buys. Would any of you buy a loaf of bread, come home, put it in your freezer, shut the freezer door, and then wait 5, 10, or 15 years, come back, take that freezer burned loaf of bread out, look at it and be like, yum. No, you wouldn't eat that thing. Let's just be honest. How many of you would buy a car, your dream car, and then as soon as you get the keys, you're like, all right, oh, wait a second. I got to wait 5, 10, or 15 years to drive that car. How many of you would buy with your significant other your dream house? And then you're just about to go there. And that day when you get your new house and you're first getting ready to go in, and you turn to your husband and your wife. I'm going to do a wife. Sweetie, I forgot. Honey, we can't move into this house for 5, 10, or 15 years. Because remember, we do things with money we would never do with the things money buys. You wouldn't do that. You'd be divorced. My wife would be like, honey, well, maybe she wouldn't. She didn't leave me when I asked her to pay the mortgage and moved a friend in down the hall. So she might stick around for that, but yours probably won't. Again, listen, all this stuff, me and Steven are just trying to get you to think about what's really going on out there with your money. And what's going on isn't good. So let's keep going with this, right? How does your money flow? Well, is anyone on here buying a car this year? Anyone? Can someone tell me what kind of car are you going to buy this year? I don't care who it is. Somebody on this training is buying a car this year. Who's buying a car? Steven, you going to buy a car this year?
This year? I'm not planning on it, no.
Okay, so Freddie's going to buy an electric car. And let's just say Freddie's going to buy a $25,000 electric car. It is possible, Joseph. He's going to buy. Okay. We're going to go with the electric car. So he's going to buy a $25,000 hybrid or electric car. And what he's going to do is he's going to pay cash for that car. And his cash is sitting, I'm just going to assume, in a bank. He's got a traditional bank where he's got $25,000 sitting in that bank. Now let's just pretend, and let me just get his name right here. I just said it a second ago, but then we heard Humpty. Freddie is got $25,000 parked in Freddie's really good bank because Freddie's bank is paying him 4%. Anyone got a bank paying you 4% interest? Anyone? Because believe me, if you do, I got to know about it because I got to change my slides. But chances are, no, nobody's got one. Steven, let me know if somebody has a bank paying 4%. Okay. I'm
watching. I'm going to go there
too. Freddie's got a bank paying 4%. Okay. And Freddie comes in and I don't know, Steven, you want to play the banker or should I be the banker?
I want to be the banker.
All right, so Steven's your banker. So Steven's a really good banker. And Freddie walks into this really good bank that's paying him 4%. And he says to his really good banker, Steven, he says, Steven, I want to buy this amazing Tesla electric car. They got them on sale for $25,000. And Steven, I'm going to take that $25,000 out of this really good bank and I'm going to pay for that car so that I don't have a monthly payment. Steven, what are you as the really good banker going to say to Freddie?
You on mute? All right, maybe you be the banker.
No, we're gonna play. I'm sorry, I know this a little better. So Steven's a really good banker. So what Steven says to Freddie is Steven says, whoa, Freddie, hang on a second. How about this? Freddie, our really good bank is going to give you a loan for $25,000 so you can buy that really cool Tesla on sale. Right. And what we're going to do is we're going to charge you 6% over 60 months on that $25,000 loan. So Freddie's already like, you son of a bitch, man. I thought you were my good banker, not this asshole trying to do a loan. Excuse my language, it's getting late. So, but then Steven, the really good banker, says, no, Freddie, hang on a second, buddy. Our bank will pay you more money on that $25,000 you got sitting in the bank earning 4% than you will ever pay us on that $25,000 loan at 6% over the same time frame. How many of you think Steven, the really good bank, is filling Freddie with a line of BS? Is Freddie being lied to by the banker? Can he earn more money making 4% when he's paying 6%? Well, some of you are probably looking at this saying, hold on a second, hold on. I know this is a trick, but let's just do the math. 6 minus 4. He's making 4 and he's paying 6. 6 minus 4 is how much? Minus 2. Now, Freddie's losing 2% by doing what the really good banker says. But what I'm going to show you mathematically is that Stephen, the really good banker, is actually telling Freddie the absolute truth. It is possible to earn more making 4% when you're paying 6 if you understand how. And here's how. This loan, $25,000 over 6%, or at 6% over 60 months, is $483. That's $28,999, folks. $28,000 that he paid for that car. $25,000 for the car. The rest is interest to Stephen's bank. Freddie's money never left his bank account. It stayed there, earning the $25,000 earning 4%. Can anyone guess how much that is? 25 times 4% compounded over the next 60 months is $30,525. So Stephen actually was telling Freddie the truth, and Freddie just made $1,526 by doing exactly what Stephen said. And Freddie just realized he made money. He made more money earning 4 when he was paying 6. Can anyone tell me why? Stephen, can you tell me why this happened this way?
Yeah, compounding interest and amortization of how the payments are paid.
Yeah, one side's going up, the other side's going down. He's making money here continuously because it's compounding, and this side it's going down. So folks, all we just did there in a very simple way is prove to you that all day long, you can make money earning 4 when paying 6. But all along, you did the math and you didn't think you could make more earning 4 when paying 6. And this is where people get trapped. This is why people pay cash for cars instead of doing what Joseph said. Okay. This is why people do silly things like what Joseph does and buy cars for cash. But other people lease and other people pay, get financing. So what we're going to go into, I'm not going to get into the car buying thing, but the one thing I want you to understand is what we just showed you, that 4% bank, that wasn't a bank. That was the money multiplier method. That was what we're going to get into, because there are places you can put your money and earn a guaranteed 4%, like Joseph was hearing. The money multiplier method is nothing more than a method. A lot of people think that it's a product. It's not. It's a method consisting of several things. First, it consists of a machine. And I'm going to tell you what this machine is. It's a machine that we're going to use to move your money. That's all it's going to do. It's just going to move your money. Secondarily, the money multiplier method also includes, unfortunately, a marathon. To build wealth, it takes time. Wealth isn't built overnight, okay? Life isn't a sprint either, and nor is building wealth. Life is a marathon, and so is building your wealth. So this is going to take a few years to capitalize your system. Your money will grow just as fast as that little black cat running up and down the hall, but it's going to take a couple of years to capitalize this system. Sorry, I'm just trying to have fun here. Lastly, you have to have a goal. What is your goal? What are we going to do? What are we out to do? Are we out to get all the money back for all those cars you're going to buy, drive, and own? Are we trying to pay off all the debt that you have in a very quick way without working harder, without working longer, without giving up control or taking on risk? We need to know what your goal is. Heck, maybe some of you are just going to tell me your goal is to be a multimillionaire, billionaire. But we need to start somewhere, and that somewhere is the machine. So what the heck is that machine? Stephen, what is the machine we're going to use to build these people's wealth?
Well, it is a simple dividend paying, mutually owned whole life insurance policy.
Sorry, I gave it to you there. It's we're having fun. I'm trying to kind of just be role play, but the machine we're talking about here, folks, is a dividend paying whole life insurance company or whole life insurance policy from a mutually owned company. That's all it is.
Yeah, I was going to say like Brent Kessler. It's just a stupid old insurance policy, right?
Stupid whole life policy that Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman told you was the worst place to put your money. But here's where you're wrong. You might be right about whole life being a bad place to park your money if you're talking about regular whole life. Are we talking about regular whole life here, Stephen?
Absolutely not. Nope.
What are we doing different than what the average person would walk into their insurance store? And I had somebody earlier asking, can I just go to my FA, my financial advisor, and tell them I want a banking policy, and poof, they create it. Why can't they do that, or why won't they do that?
Right. Well, a financial advisor won't they don't know about these. They don't know how to build them. These are specially designed by our team to function specifically for infinite banking and the money multiplier method. Like Chris said, it's a method. So what we want to do is get access to, cash value so we can put these, put that money to work, keep it moving at all times. So we got to design the policy from the very beginning to be able to accomplish that, keeping in mind regulations like you'll hear somebody was asking earlier about MEC rules and regulations, which are just IRS regulations that only allow you to put so much and so much growth. So we design these things to maximize that cash value and that efficiency for that cash value growth, utilizing that compounding interest. And that's why we use dividend paying companies that are mutually owned. That's how we do it.
Another thing too that's very different is the way these are built makes it so that when we build this plan for you, so when we build your banking policy, we are literally giving up 60 to 90% of the income that we can make on this plan. Because listen, remember I said earlier, one of the greatest gifts you can do is to give. We have to give so that you have access to get. You get access and control of your money because we give up our commission on these plans. How many FAs out there or financial advisors or brokers are willing to give up 60 to 90% of their income so that you have access to 60 to 90%? Not many. That's the answer. Not many. And not many even know how to do it. But how did we learn how to do this? Simple. The banks. You know who the number one purchaser of whole life insurance policies are in the world? I'm just going to say in the country, but it is in the world. Conventional banks. They own more whole life than they do in all the land in the buildings combined. Look up Bank of America and look at their balance sheet. You will find that Bank of America owns more whole life insurance. I think it's to the tune of, I did this training, 40 or something billion. I think it even might be more in whole life. And they don't even own that much in land and buildings. And you guys ever drive down a big city or anywhere in the country? Isn't there a bank on every single corner or a bank building in every single city? Every one. And they own more whole life, that stupid whole life thing that Dave Ramsey said is terrible. They do. So the thing you got to ask yourself is, are banks stupid or do they know something that you don't know? Which is it, Stephen? Do they know something you don't know or are they stupid?
I think they just know a little something you don't know.
They do. So folks, for any of you looking to look this up, because I know there's fact checkers on here, I love that because everything we give is factual based on actual data that we've researched. Google BOLI, B-O-L-I, bank-owned life insurance. And what you will find is hundreds of pages coming up on Google telling you how much money banks put into whole life. You want to go one step further? How about FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Company or Insurance Corporation? Google FDIC.gov. And when you get there in the search emblem, put in BOLI. And you will find financial reports of companies like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. You'll find them and you can look and see how much money they have. And as of December 2020, it was $180 billion in these permanent life insurance plans called BOLI. So why is it that we are taught not to put our money in the same exact place that the banks put their money? Why can't you walk into the bank and say, Mr. Banker, I want to put my money in the same place that your bank puts its money? They can't do it. They won't do it. That seems wrong. If the banks are putting their money here, why are they telling you not to? Could it be because they can't make enough money off of you? Well, I'll leave that to your imagination. But remember that really good bank, that 4%? That's what it was. It was this specially designed and engineered whole life policy that we're going to talk about that pays you a guaranteed 4%. So now do I have your attention for what we're going to go through?
And let me ask this, Chris, what else do banks do that we've been talking about all night? What else do banks implement every single time they open a new bank? Think about where banks are located. In the best areas of every major city, you see the skyscrapers on the corner of every intersection in any town in America. They're buying real estate. Their banks are sitting on real estate. I mean, they're implementing exactly what we're teaching. All we're doing is mocking what the wealthy do. We're mocking what these banks do. We're mocking what these financially educated people don't want us to know and don't want us to do because they want to make money off of us. The financial advisors is the same thing. They'll never teach you about self-directed retirement accounts. Why? Because they won't make money if you're controlling your money and they don't have control of it anymore. It's exactly the same across the board. It's
damn if that doesn't piss you off. The banks, the financial advisors and Wall Street are telling you to do things with your money, and they're not even doing the same things with their money. And they're telling you that because that's how they make a buck off of you. That's how they get in control of your money. Man, folks, when I started hearing about this, I got mad. And if you're not mad, you're going to be in a little bit. Let's talk about how banks actually work. Let's talk about a bank's operation. It's simple. We're going to draw, this is the bank right here. Okay. So you go to the bank and what do? You take your hard-earned dollars that you went to work for. You traded hours for dollars to make this money. And what do? You deposit it in the bank. And what does the bank do in return? They pay you interest. Now, if your bank is like Joseph's, you're not getting 4%. So don't get caught up in the numbers. It's just an example. And what does the bank do when you make a deposit? They're not happy. When you make a deposit in the bank, you've created a liability for the bank and an asset for yourself. Do any of you like liabilities? No. Stephen, what do you like? Liabilities or assets?
Assets.
You like assets. So do I. Well, so does banks. But to make that liability an asset is the same way that all of you earlier can turn your house that you live in from a liability into an asset, as Robert Kiyosaki says. How do you do that? You make it pay you an income. Okay. You make it be cash flow positive. So how does a bank take your deposit and cash flow it? Hell, that's easy. They just lend that money out to your neighbor. And your neighbor's buying this big old fancy house because he wants to get out of the city, away from these COVID places, and they want some land, some cows, and he's going to buy a dairy cow and milk it and put the milk out to the front. We might get there tonight. If not, the 3-day, we'll talk about the dairy cows. So he's buying a house. The bank is taking your money and everybody else's, and they're lending it out to your neighbor at 7%. Your neighbor does what then? Exchanges that loan for the keys to the seller. So the seller takes the loan, called the mortgage, and deposits that money back in the bank. The bank is pissed now. You just created another liability. So then what happens? Well, Andrew strolls into the bank. He had a really good month. He got his stimulus check. He got his PPP loan, and he's going to buy himself a brand spanking new BMW M4. But he doesn't have enough money to do it. So he says, Mr. Banker, I need a loan. And the bank says, great. I just got a bunch of money back from the seller of that house, and we need to turn that and make an asset. So I'm going to lend that money out to Andrew at 8%. Andrew now exchanges that loan to the dealership for that brand new BMW M4, and the car dealership deposits the money back in the bank, creating a liability. The bank quickly turns it back around to Stephen's wife, who wants a new kitchen. So they take out a home remodel loan. The bank charges them 9%. They pay the contractors. Sometimes the contractors put the money back in the bank. Other times they don't, but we're going to pretend that they do. Now the bank's got another liability. And then you are so excited that you've done all this. You got your BMW, your neighbor just got a new house. You didn't like them anyway. Your wife just got a new kitchen. So things have been good later on at night. Husbands are, hey, I'm not just picking on wives here, but whatever. Then all of a sudden you take a trip to Las Vegas, you put it all on black and it hits red. And you're like, oh my God, I just lost it all. I racked up the credit cards. I can't come home, but that's okay. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right, Stephen? That never worked for me, but anyway,
yeah, it's
just trying to make this interesting.
I'm keeping it all in Vegas.
There you go. Yeah. You go to the bank, you get a debt consolidation loan, you pay off those credit cards. The bank charges you 12%. And you put the credit card company puts the money back in the bank. Who was in control of every one of these transactions? Was it you or was it the bank? It was the bank. How much risk did the bank take on to do all of these transactions? Some of you would probably say none, but the answer is a little bit. Okay, because if you default on this debt consolidation, that's a little risk to the bank, but not much. They used your money to turn around and make a spread on that money. 4 minus 7 is they made 3% on your neighbor's house. Okay, 4 minus 8 for Andrew's car, they made 4%. Okay, down here, 9 minus 4 is 5% they made on Stephen's wife buying a kitchen. And then over here, that Las Vegas trip, because that's an unsecured loan. Oh man, they're really dingy on those things. So right there, they made an 8% spread. So if we add all these up, the bank made 20% on your money and everybody else's. They made a spread of 20%. We just did the math, folks. How many of you would be okay making 20% on somebody else's money? Be honest with yourself. Would you be okay making 20% on someone else's money? Because if you wouldn't, there's something very wrong with you. But I'm psyched to make 20% on somebody else's money. But see, here's the funny thing. Can anyone on this training tell me how much money did the bank actually make? The math is right on the screen. Can anyone tell me how much money did the bank actually make on your money? The answer is 500%, because 4 divided into 20 is how much, Joseph? 4 divided into 20. 5 times. The bank made 5 times more, which is 500% more than you did. And the bank was in control of every single transaction. Folks, this is what the banks do. And you guys look at these guys, Dustin and Tech, you guys nailed it, 500%. Banks make between 400 and 1,300% on the money you leave there, folks. That's how much money banks make on the money we're leaving in the bank. But like, and some of you are like, I don't believe you. Great. Go to BauerFinancial.com and just research it. Pull up any bank anywhere in the United States, and you will see that they make between 400 and 1,300% on the money you leave there. How many of you would be okay making 400 to 1,300% on someone else's money? I was going to show you someone that was really excited, but he just ran away. His name's Lazy Cash, or Lazy Cat by some accords. So the other thing that's interesting about this is if the banks are making 400 to 1,300%, what gives? What are they giving us? How many of you have walked into the bank recently to make a deposit? You walk in, you give the teller your $100 deposit, and right above you, for me, I'm short. So right above me, there's a mug, right? What's in the mugs? And they always say the bank, Bank of America, Key Bank. What's in there? Suckers. Oh, I got sweet tooth. Man, they got grape, they got watermelon, they got strawberry. Heck, some of them have raspberry. So I grab whatever flavor I want while they're making my deposit, and I unwrap it and I look at the wrapper. And what does the wrapper say? Can anyone tell me what? There we go. Tech said, dum-dums. Has anyone on this training, honestly, out of the 120 people, has anyone ever been to a bank that has any other sucker other than dum-dums? Because I haven't found one. They're trying to send you a message. They really are. Let's keep going here with this. Annual pattern of spending. I'm going to go really quick. You guys want to all build wealth? Let me give you a simple tactic to do that. And then I'm going to show you very quickly how to do it. Stephen, one of the best ways to build wealth is to take back the money you're giving away to everybody else. But how much of our money do we actually give away to everybody else? Stephen, how much money out of every dollar we make are we giving to somebody else?
More than you think, over half, I would say.
Okay, 90%. 20% is going to automobiles. So 20 cents of every dollar is going to your automobile expenses. Okay, housing. How much is going to housing? 30%. How much is going to everything else? Diapers, vacations, those Las Vegas trips? 40% or 40 cents. So that's 90 cents is going to somebody else out of every dollar you make statistically. Only 10 cents of the money you make is going to savings. And most people aren't even saving 10%.
And that's after taxes.
Oh yeah, that's after taxes. Okay. So the average is about 7%. So how do we change this? Because that sucks. How do you ever get ahead when you're only saving this and you're giving away all of this? We reverse engineer it. What we do is we figure out how do we, you, me, and everybody else, take back the money we're giving to everybody else. Cars. Okay. How do we take back the 20 cents that we're giving to the automobile that we have in our driveway? Well, we start by determining how we buy cars. We can pay cash, we can lease, or we can finance. And if we finance, we're literally paying the bank interest on those loans. If you lease, you might just think you're making a monthly payment, but in there is interest. You're giving interest to the bank. And if you pay cash, oh, I beat them. I'm not paying them interest. No, you just gave up the interest earning potential on that money like Joseph did. Sorry, buddy. You did, though. You gave up a lot of money that you could have earned interest on. So you give something up in any way you buy a car. But what if we could show you how to buy cars and get all the interest back? Well, if we did that, we could make 20 or 5 cents of the 20 cents back at least, because we could take the interest back. Housing. Okay. We spend 30 cents of every dollar on housing. I already went into this. If your mortgage, if you look at the statement, interest and principal, when we did Joseph's, how much is going to interest versus principal in the first 7 years? Stephen, how much was that?
I forget the percentage. It's huge though. I mean, it's
80 to 85% of every single payment you make to the mortgage is going to interest. Okay. So if we just wanted to take back the interest that we're giving the banks, it'd be easy. We could do that. And if we did that, we're taking back 25 of the 30 cents.
And what's the average that somebody owns a home or refis it?
Oh, I wasn't going to go there because that would really piss people off. How often do people move or refinance their house? It's every 5 to 7 years.
Exactly.
Okay, so where do you think,
know what they're doing?
Yeah. Of course, they're beating you in the volume of interest. Doesn't matter about what the interest rate is. They're beating you in the volume of interest. So they know, because they got the money and the research to go in and figure out how often are people buying houses. Great. That's too long. So why don't we just do this interest rate cycle so that we can shorten that to 5 years? So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the interest rates are lower every 5 years or thereabout, so that people come in and rush in to get these refinances, which we make all our fees up front. Anyone refinance their house lately? What were your closing costs? Yeah, too much, way too much. How much goes to the bank? Too much. It's the only answer. And then the bank resets that whole volume of interest, and now you're paying them 80 to 85%. You think the banks are stupid now? Shouldn't we just mimic the banks? You guys want to get wealthy, stupid wealthy? Just copy what the banks do. You can. Okay, everything else. How many of you use a credit card to buy your groceries? How many of you use a credit card for DoorDash or Uber or all those other things you do? Yes, yes, and yes. They're all linked to your credit card. How many of you pay all your credit cards off every single month? Joseph, anyone else pay their credit cards off every single month? Okay, holy smokes, we got a rock star group here. But for the rest of you, so we got like 5, 6, okay? The rest of you probably don't. And when you don't, you pay interest. So if we could just not use credit cards, or we could find a method to pay back those credit cards before they hit us with any interest, well, we could keep 5 cents there. So now I just want everybody to look at the screen. Remember before we were giving up 90 cents of every dollar? Now this is our savings, and this is the money we're giving up. How many of you like this dynamic better than the other one? We're keeping a lot more of the money instead of giving it away. That's all we're doing. So now let's go into the fun thing. How many of you know this car? Her name is Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds, my dream car. I don't have her yet. Someday she will be mine, someday. But if I could just find a way to get all the money back for buying Eleanor, I'd be in a way better place. So how about I just show you guys, and for the remaining amount of time that we're on here, I want to show you how to get all the money back for every single car you will ever buy, drive, and own. Stephen, you love this, don't you? This never gets old.
Well, I love toys like, side-by-sides and boats and airplanes and fun things. And this can apply to all of that. I also love cars. So.
Absolutely. So I love cars too. And if you watch the videos that we played earlier, you can see the 2 cars. We get all the money back for those cars. So let me show you how to do it. Remember that specially designed and engineered whole life, the machine I was talking about? If you think of a whole life policy, we got to look under the hood. You're probably thinking of a whole life like, I got to make premiums. How many of you love making your insurance premium payments? Anyone excited about that? Like, woo, I love it. I love it. You don't, right? No one does. Nobody likes making premium payments. But how many of you like making deposits in your bank? That feels good, doesn't it? You take away your dum-dum sucker, you make your deposit. Bubba Brown loves that. Okay, so that feels good. So what we're actually doing here is we're not making premiums. We're designing these plans so that we're actually making deposits into the insurance company's general account. So from here on out, your premium is your premium deposit. Number 2, there's always somebody on one of these trainings that's older and they're like, oh, Chris, this isn't going to work for me. I'm 60. I shoulda, I coulda, I woulda. Folks, age, when we're building a banking policy, doesn't matter. Unless you're over 70, it doesn't matter. I can take a 30-year-old and a 60-year-old, putting the same dollar amount of premium deposits in, and they're both going to have the same amount of money. The difference is going to be something, though. There's a big difference. So if you're 30 and you're 65, and you're both putting the same amount and you both have the same cash value, what would be the difference? Death benefit. So there's a death benefit on every one of these, but do we care about it? Not really. We do, but it's a secondary concern because I've never met a person in my life that cares more about the money they have that cares more about the money that somebody gets the day they die, more than they care about the money in their bank today. True or true? Stephen, do you care more about the money somebody gets the day you die, more than you care about the money you have to use today? Today. We're all going to say today. Okay. There we go. So, we got some interesting comments I won't comment on, but let's get into this and let me just show you how this works. It's very simple, folks. Just stay with the numbers here and I'm going to make this easy. So every one of you are putting your money somewhere. Some of you are putting money in 401k. Some of you are putting money in Robinhood in your brokerage account. Some of you are putting money in your savings or checking account and just leaving it to sit there. We're all saving something, whether you know it or not. So all we're going to do, folks, is we're going to change one thing. We're going to change where your savings goes first. That's all, just first. So we're going to stop putting money in somebody else's control. And we're going to put it in our control in this specially designed and engineered whole life. This example is just going to show you somebody depositing $10,000 a year. Why did I use this example? 10 grand is simple math, folks. Don't get hung up on the numbers. If you don't have 10 grand to save, don't be like, oh, this doesn't work for me. I can't do it. Well, 10 grand is just a number that we use for an example. The minimum to do this is 10 times your age. I'm 43, so 430 a month would be the minimum for me. Okay. If you're older, it's more. If you're younger, it's less. 10 grand goes in, you're making deposits. It can be a year, monthly, quarterly. It doesn't matter how you get the money in. And what I'm going to do is I want to buy a car. So most of you probably have a car today, because when I asked, not many of you are looking to buy one, but most of you lease a car or have a loan that probably will expire inside of 3 years. So let's pretend in a period of 3 years, you got to buy a car. So what we're going to do is we're going to save up to pay cash for this car. So we've saved 10 grand a year. Over here is the money that's in your cash value money multiplier account. Okay. And in the third year, what we're going to do is we're going to take 25 grand of the 29 grand that we had in there, and we're going to buy a car. Now, some of you are looking at this being like, well, that doesn't seem like a good deal. I put 30 in and I only got 29. You just stay with me, young buck. I'll teach you the way. You're getting caught up in the simple math of like, oh, I don't have, more than what I put in 3 years. But I promise in a moment, you're going to not care about that. You buy the car for 25 grand, but what you do is you got to remember in your mind that you are the bank. So if you were to have gone to a finance company or to a car dealership and financed the car, you would have made a monthly payment back to somebody every month, but you wouldn't have controlled that money. But because you took 25 grand from your bank, what we're going to do is we're going to treat our money the same as you would treat the bank's money. And we're going to make a monthly payment for $500 a month back to our bank. Now, how many of you would hate writing a check to yourself? Does anyone hate writing a check to yourself? Does that suck? No, I think all of you would love to do that, right? Well, you're not writing a check to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or GM Finance. You're writing a check to the bank of you. How many of you like the sound of that better than writing a check to GM Finance? I hope all of you. There you go. I love the Bank of Tech. Me too. So all we're doing is we're just writing the check that we normally would have given away to somebody else back to ourselves. And we're going to do this every year for a period of 5 years. Now let's do the math. All we did, folks, was change one thing. We changed where the money went first that we're saving. The second thing we did, we just went out and bought a car like we normally would, except for this car, we didn't pay cash. Well, we did, but we financed this car with our own bank. We took a loan from our bank and bought the car, and then we pay our bank back the same exact amount you would have paid to somebody else's bank. Following me? Okay. Over the 7 years that we put the 10,000 and we put 70 grand into our bank. Okay. We bought a car and we paid back that loan to ourselves. So that $25,000 car cost us $30,000. Why is it 30, not 25? Because we paid ourselves back with interest, the same as you would have paid the bank back with interest. Nothing different here. So 70 plus 30 is 100,000. Everybody with me? Okay. But now we bought a car. So we got to subtract the car from the amount we deposited. So 100 minus 25 is $75,000. So our true net injection into our bank is $75,000. Everybody with me? Does anyone have any questions at this point? Great. If you do, we got people answering them. So
we're good. We've been answering. Yeah.
Let's just do the math. Our net injection is 75. How much money at the end of this 7-year period in the car in the driveway is left? $67,881. 75 is what we put in. 67 is what we have left. Plus the car is bought and paid for in the driveway. We literally got 91 cents of every single dollar that we paid for that first car. Now, seriously, ask yourself this. How many of you bought a car and when you were done paying off the loan, you had 91 cents of every dollar you paid for that car in your bank account and the car in your driveway? Anyone? I've never met a person in all the times I've spoken that had 91 cents of every dollar back for the car that they bought that is sitting in their driveway. Not once. Secondarily, I did not tell you to come here tonight that we were going to show you how to get 91 cents back for every car. I told you we were going to get how much? Stephen, how much did I tell them they were going to get back for every car they ever buy, drive, and own?
All of it.
all of it. But how many of you only are going to buy one car the rest of your life? None of you. What happens when you get a car that's 5 years old? What happens? Things start breaking. The tires start getting worn out. The brakes start going. Some reason inherently, it's almost like a bird, right? It's instinct. We just have to get a new car after 5 years. Literally, we've evolved, folks. You know, back in the day, we used to we just walked everywhere. Today, every 5 years, our instinct, like a bird flying, tells us we need a new car, but it's not that. Here's what it is. Every 5 years, we start to miss that new car smell that you get when you buy the car. So we do that thing when we're driving with our significant other and we're like, honey, let's just browse. Let's just walk around. And you're walking around the new cars and the dealer comes out, I'm just looking. And he's finding the one that's sweet. And you're like, wow, look at those black wheels. Look at the red calipers. Man, that's sweet. Look at that white interior. Honey, check that out. And the guy hasn't gone far, even though you told him you're just looking. He's like, do you want me to let you in? Oh, what the hell? Yeah, let me see the inside. That white interior looks pretty nice. They open it up. You get yourself in that car. You shut the door. You grab the steering wheel and you take a breath. Done. You're done. It's the new car smell, folks. We don't buy cars for any other reason than the new car smell. Hell, they got a whole industry that makes car fresheners that are called new car smell. So don't you dare tell me that's not why you buy cars. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent. So after 5 years, we got to buy a new car. So what we're going to do in the 8th year, which is when we buy the new cars, we're going to stop putting money in our bank. We're no longer going to save any more money. I would never tell you to do this, but that's what I'm showing. And what we're going to do is we're going to take another $25,000 loan from our bank. We're going to take that and we're going to buy this new car with the white leather and the new car smell. And we're going to roll it off the lot. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to pay $500 a month back to our bank for the period of those 5 years. And here's what happens. After the 10th year, which is the 12th year in this example, because we had a capitalization period of 3 years. Here's what happened. We put no new money into the plan. Okay? We repaid $30,000 for that white leather new car that you just bought with the black rims and the red calipers. Just trying to help get you to think about this. You got 30 grand you put in, but you bought a car. So it was 25 out of that 30 grand went to the purchase. So now our true net injection over this period was $5,000. Sorry, the cat's getting excited. Okay. $5,000 is what we paid for this new car net injection. But how much money's in our bank? Anyone that can see the screen, $91,000. We have $91,000 in our money multiplier cash value bank account. We had 67, so 67 minus 91 is we made 23,000 over that period of 5 years. But what is our actual amount that we made for buying two cars? Because remember, in your driveway, you have two cars. One is now 10 years old, one is 5 years old. They have value. You could sell them and make money. You could gift them. You could use them to give them to your kids. If we take 75,000 plus 5,000, those are our net injections. You have $80,000. What is 80 minus 91? Can anyone tell me? Joseph, you're good at math. 11,473. So for buying two cars, you just made $11,473. You literally just got all the money back for both of those cars you bought. Could you imagine what would happen for the third, fourth, fifth, sixth car?
You even got some gas money in there, some tires in there, some maintenance in there.
You got money to put superchargers and wings on your cars by the fourth car. You don't believe me? Watch my video that's on YouTube, how I bought my last 3 cars. It's insane, folks. This is how you get all the money back. And did we do anything crazy here? Did any of you have to work any harder to do this? No, you were already saving money. All we did is we borrowed money from our bank instead of somebody else's. We paid our bank back the same amount you would pay somebody else's bank, and we just bought cars. That's all we did. Now, maybe your car isn't 25 grand. Maybe it's 100. Great. So we'll change the numbers. That's all we do. So in this scenario, there's 3 things that happened here. 3 things. Number 1, there's rules. Number 1, we paid ourselves first. We've never stopped saving money over those first 7 years. Number 2, we recycled and recaptured the money we would have given away to somebody else. You would have normally given $500 a month away to somebody else. So all we did is we just wrote the check to ourselves. And number 3, we treated our money the same as you would treat the bank's money. So here's the rules up: pay yourself first, pay yourself with interest, and recycle and recapture your money. That's all you need to do, which is exactly the funny thing. It's the exact same thing you're doing today, but you're doing it with somebody else's bank. You just changed one thing and you changed where your money went first, and that's the results. So I know there's a bunch of questions that just came in, but I want to keep going here because there's something really cool I want to show you, and I'm going to go quick. Stephen, this is the most impressive part about this presentation, and it's real. This scenario is a case study of a chiropractor who saw us present, just like all of you are seeing us present, and said to us, can you help me? We said, what's your problem? He said, debt. I've got all these third-party debts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 third-party debts. I owe Discover, Lowe's, Nordstrom, Wells Fargo. I owe all this money, and I need to get rid of it because all these third-party debts total $478,000, folks. That's how much this guy was in debt. And that $478,000 totaled $5,777 a month. Here's what he was paying. This is his monthly payment, his house, his condo, his boat, his BMW. This is the interest rate he was paying on all of them. And this is how many payments he had left on all of them. Real numbers, folks. How many of you would be okay if you had $5,777 every month going to somebody else? You probably do. Most people do. It doesn't feel good. And he said to us, can you help me? We said, well, sure we can. How much money are you saving? And he said to us, well, I'm saving $25,000 a year between 401k, various things, and so on and so forth. And we said, all right, well, let's just take the 25 grand and let's divide it into the 478 plus interest. That would have taken him 19 years to pay off all this debt. He said, absolutely not. I'll never make it. And we said, great. Mr. Chiropractor, if we change one thing, if you can change where that savings goes first, and you can follow a plan that we create for you through our mapping process, would it be okay if we pay all your debt off in 6.5 years without you working any harder, without you working any longer, and without you taking on any risk? Are you okay with that, Mr. Chiropractor? Absolutely. So let's show you how this works. Very simple. First thing, year one, we changed where the 25 grand went first. You saw it with the car. We're going to put it into a specially designed and engineered whole life, a private bank. And immediately in the first 30 days, this chiropractor is going to take his first loan for roughly about 60% of the amount of his deposit, $14,863. We're going to take that $14,863, and what are we going to do? We're going to pay off Discover, we're going to pay off Lowe's, and we're going to pay down Nordstrom. In paying these debts down, he no longer owes he no longer owes Discover $161. He no longer owes Lowe's $287. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick up 21% and 11%. So what would be the smart thing to do? Well, the smart thing would be to take this $448 that he gave to Discover and Lowe's, and then take that money and put it into a bank account, which is exactly what we told him to do. We said, every month, change the name on the check that you just freed up to your bank and put the money into a segregated bank account, which is nothing more than a bank account at whatever bank you bank at, but a new one. So that's what he did. Okay. Year two, all we do is the exact same thing as we did year one. We deposit 25 grand in this specially designed whole life, but we take a loan and immediately, and when I say immediately, how long is that, folks? 30 days. In the first 30 days, we take a loan for 16. See how that number is climbing? Welcome to the eighth wonder of the world, says Albert Einstein. Uninterrupted compound interest. Okay, so he's got 16 grand. What are we going to do with that? We're going to pay off Nordstrom. We're going to pay off Wells Fargo. We're going to pay down the private loan. We're going to pay off private loan, and we're going to pay down the BMW. Okay, we're going to free up 276, 271, 922. And what we're going to do is we're going to take that money, which is now $1,917 that he used to give away to everybody else. And we're going to take that money and we're just going to put it in his bank account every month. Okay. So how we did that, and you see here, these payments, that was the money that he was saving in his segregated account. All we did is we just took the money he was giving away and we kept it in a regular bank account and we redeployed it. Year three, what happens? Deposits 25 grand, but something miraculous happens in year three in most of the plans we build. How many of you would be okay if you made 25 grand deposit to your bank and your bank gave you back more than 25 grand immediately in the first 30 days? Would that be a good day in the office? That's what he did. Put 25 in, took 25,541. But he was saving $1,917 every single month. That bill pay that he used to give to everybody else, he now pays to himself. That's 23 grand in his bank account. He had a total of $48,000 in his policy and his bank account. So what are we going to do? Pay off BMW, pay off the boat, pay down the condo. We're 3 years in, folks, and he's already freed up $3,677 every single month. His debts that he owes are now $283,000. Remember, we started at 478. We're 3 years deep. Nothing changed. He didn't work any harder. He didn't take on any risk, and he didn't give up any control. All he did is change where the money went first. And to give you the idea, how much did we put in? We put in 25 grand each year for 3 years. So we put in 75 grand. We took out 14, 16, and 25. So we took out 55. How much money's left in his account? How much? Anyone do the math? 75 minus 55 is what? 20 grand. 20 grand's left in his account, right? Wrong. $75,000 is left in his account, folks. We never took the money out of his account. Remember, we said this earlier with Joseph. We took the insurance company's money. They loaned us money from their general account. Our money that we deposited never left our account. We just borrowed against our death benefit, that 55 grand. That was our death benefit being loaned to us. So our money never stopped earning interest, 4% plus dividend. We never stopped earning uninterrupted compound interest. You see how this works and why this keeps getting more and more? Now check this out. Year 4, he deposits 25 grand. He immediately in the first 30 days takes out 26,304. Now that's pretty cool. Go to your bank, give him 25 grand, come back 30 days later and be like, hey, I want 26,304 back. They'll laugh you out of the bank. Insurance company won't, they'll just give it to you. No questions asked. Then he was saving 3,677, which is not new money, folks. It's the money he used to give away to Discover, Lowe's, Nordstrom, Wells Fargo, the private loan, BMW, and West Marine. That's all it is. It's money he was giving away that now he's putting into his bank account. That money equals 44,135. So if we add the $26,000 loan we took from our policy, plus the 44 grand that's in his segregated bank account at whatever his local bank is, we got 70 grand. So we're 4 years in. 4th year, we pay the condo down. We now owe 26,000. Our total debt is $187,000. His monthly payment is exactly the same because when you pay a mortgage down, does your monthly payment change? Nope. So that's a boring year. Now we're in year 5. This is a fun year. Year 5, puts 25 grand in his account, takes out 27,000. Now, does that get you excited? Put 25 in, take 27 out. But then he was saving another, the same thing, 36. So he's got 44 again in his segregated account. He's got 71 grand saved without working any harder. So what's he going to do? Pays the condo off, pays his primary residence down to 91 grand. His monthly payments to everybody else are now $1,221. The amount he's keeping, $45.56. If this chiropractor stopped in the 5th year and never went on to year 6, he only owes $76,000 on his primary mortgage. That's it. He freed up $4,556 of money he was giving away. That would be a win. But as the Rudy would say, if you guys have ever seen the movie Rudy, you never stop until the game's done. So what's he going to do? Year 6, we're going to go over again. But in year 6, the IRS gets involved and says, whoa, Mr. Chiropractor, we can't let you put 25 grand into that policy anymore. I'm sorry. You're having way too much fun. You're making too much money and it's all tax free. So we're going to reduce the amount that you can put into 10 grand. The chiropractor says, that sucks, man. I can only do 10 grand. But then he takes the immediate amount out of 13,092. So how many of you could do the math? If you put 10,000 into your bank and you take 13,000 out, what's your return in 30 days? What's your return? 30%, right? 30%. Any of you making 30% on your money? Guaranteed? Doubt it. So now what he does is he says, I love this. I wish I would have put more money in the first time. And we said, well, start your second bank. So he does. He starts a second bank with 25 grand. We take a loan for 14,863 out of that. Sorry, the numbers are jumbled. We're on a Mac. And then his payments from this 4556 that he's basically putting, taking back from everybody else, going to his segregated account. I know this is a lot of numbers, but just follow what's going on. He has $82,000. He only owes 76 on his house. 6.5 years, he owes nothing to anyone. He now is recapturing and recycling $5,777 every month, and every debt he had is paid off. Folks, he didn't work any harder. We did this map for him. This is the map. Okay, we create this for every client. Andrew, who's been answering your questions, does this for we have 2 mapping specialists, 3 actually, and we will map it all out. This chiropractor didn't have to do any work. We did it all for him, and we didn't charge him for that. this is what we do with the money multiplier, folks. What I just showed you is the power of changing one thing, understanding what the wealthy know, understanding what the banks know, and applying it in your life. And the goal, becoming a millionaire. That was your goal. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you climb a mountain? One step at a time. Folks, that's how you become a millionaire. That chiropractor, it took him 6.5 years to get rid of all that debt. That's like climbing to the top of Mount Everest. Okay. The other thing too, is it possible to owe no man nothing? This example showed cars and debt. Some of you on here have no debt and you don't buy cars. I don't know how, but you don't buy cars. Great. Could you use this same strategy to invest in real estate? Yep. Can you use this same strategy like Joseph did to lend money as a private lender? Can you use this same strategy to invest in stocks, crypto, anything? Yes, you can use this for anything, including vacations and paying your taxes. We have videos that show that. So that chiropractor, when he paid his house and his mortgage off, I just want to show you this dynamic because this is powerful. If he had just continued paying the regular bank back for his house and his condo, it was $879 times 251 months. House was 1221 times 224. So he would have paid the bank $493. Now he got to keep $493. But then he learned, wow, I can make 4% compound interest on that money, uninterrupted, by the way. If we just added a 4% tailwind to his money, he now has $749,000. He didn't change anything. It's his money working harder for him. And by the way, too, I'm going to get to this one. He didn't have to pay tax on any of that internal gain. It's all tax free. We didn't even talk about the death benefit, but if he dies, his family gets a death benefit. We didn't talk about the loans never being repaid because they don't have to, even though he did pay them back. And we didn't talk about these policies being exempt from judgments and liens in most states, except for my lovely state of New York. Folks, if you guys like that, it's nothing more than Warren Buffett telling you if the rich or if poor people would just do what the rich people do, they wouldn't be poor anymore. And then you got another person, I'm going to skip this one because you'd be better off with this if you live or die. But this guy's Will Rogers. This quote that I'm going to read is the best one. It says, the biggest problem in America is not what people don't know. The biggest problem in America is what people think they know that just ain't so. Who are you getting your advice from? Who's telling you what's right or wrong with your money? Is it somebody that has something to gain from you or somebody that actually wants to see you succeed? You got to look at yourself in the mirror, draw the line in the sand, and decide who's going to be in control of your money. Folks, that's the money multiplier method. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry, it seems like a long presentation. I just get so damn fired up. I've given that presentation hundreds of times and it never gets old. That is the 90-minute presentation that I watched back in 2014 that changed my life. And it's the one that will change yours. And if any of you have questions about how to get one of these started or questions about just what does this look like, we can do a call with you. I mean, there's an email there. Stephen has a link. But anyway, Stephen, how would they get, more information on this?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so we handle every single aspect of this. So a lot of people are asking really good questions about, the design, what companies to go to, how they would find these. We do all of that for you. So that's what we specialize in, is talking to you about your situation. And especially those of you that are on here with our, through money school, you're probably looking at doing some investing, whether it's real estate, private lending, moving your money around, keeping that money moving. So I can really talk to you about, what you have going on right now, what you're working towards, and how we can implement the infinite banking money multiplier concept into everything you're already doing, how you can make that one change to fix everything. So more than the best thing is to do is let's talk one-on-one. So you can either schedule a call on the link over there in the comments, or send me an email, snaggy@chrisnaugle.com, snaggy@chrisnaugle.com, and we can schedule a time that we can chat and bring it all to life. So we're going to design that policy specifically for you and your situation. Everyone's different. So we're going to determine that on the call. What is the best plan for you? What's the best design for you? And what I really love about infinite banking and these policies are it does allow you to plan. So if you're the kind of person that likes to know, hey, what's life going to look like in 5 years, in 10 years? How can I meet my goal in 15 years or in 2 years or whatever it is? when we design this policy, we create what's called an illustration. And the illustration, because of the guaranteed compounding aspect of this, because we're able to calculate out for the rest of your life that compounding portion, because it's guaranteed returns, no matter what happens in the economy, what happens in the stock market, we'll be able to show you an illustration exactly all the money going into your policy and all of the cash value growth within your policy for the rest of your life. So you'll know exactly, like if you're, if you have a kid going to college in 15 years, let's plan out how you have the amount of money that you need to get them there to be able to fund that college experience with your own bank, right? So we can plan all this out. So we design all of it. We help you right through the application process. We hold your hand. Our application specialists are very good at that, making sure you get approved, because not everybody's approved. You do medically have to be approved. If you're not approved, we do have solutions for that also. So we can help you implement those other solutions if we run into any trouble. So we do all of that for you. And then once you have the policy, that's where we really go to work, where Chris was just showing you with the mapping. So Andrew, Jonah, Jeremiah, these guys are going to map out where that money goes. So what that means is when you're ready to, once you have the policy and it's funded, we're going to immediately encourage you to do what? Put it in the comment. What are we going to tell you to do? When the money gets into that policy, what's the first thing you're going to do? Put it in the comments. Put it into play or take it out and get it what?
Move it.
Thank you, Sonia.
That was awesome. Put it in play.
Exactly, Angie. Thank you. Moving. We want to get that money working for you just as hard as you work to get that money in the first place. All right. So we're going to get that money moving immediately, whether that's paying down debt, whether that's buying a car, whether that's building wealth for the future and buying real estate or lending it, private lending. We're going to get that money moving. So we'll map out where does that money go? How to recycle, recapture all of that interest and profits? How do we either then get it back into the policy so we can do it again and again, or simply redeploy it into the next money movement area? So we do all of that for you, and we don't charge a dime for any of it. All right. So people are asking, I'll cover it. We do get paid a small commission. Chris talked about it earlier. It is a diminished commission because we give you all of the value and all the benefits of the policy, as opposed to the insurance company paying us large commissions like most life insurance agents earn. Okay. So we do make that small commission, but guess what? We analyzed all of our clients a couple of years ago in the money multiplier. 91% of our clients ended up opening additional policies within the first 12 months. So what does that tell us? If we provide great service, we will get not only repeat business, but referral business over and over and over again. So we deal in large quantities and we provide, I said it earlier, we under promise, we over deliver, and we will always do that for you. So make sure you set up a call. Let's talk about your situation. I see a lot of familiar names on here. Awesome. So it's great to see, our people that are already implementing infinite banking concept in their lives are on here learning new techniques, new strategies. And this is not something you're going to watch this video, watch a 90-minute video, and all of a sudden you're going to get it. This is something that you're going to continuously learn new ways to use it. And it's a constant battle, just like that backwards bicycle. Your mind takes time to readjust and learn new things. And because of habits, like waking up at 5 a.m. At first, it's really difficult, but then what happens? All of a sudden you're waking up before your alarm even goes off. So you can develop these good habits. You can develop a change in mindset. You just have to be willing to keep going at it. We call it, within our company, we call it keeping people around the campfire, because we know if you stay around the campfire long enough, you will have that aha moment. And once that aha moment happens, that's when your life is truly going to change. Whether that's through IBC, whether that's through real estate, whether that's through anything that we teach you, it will happen at some point. So I look forward to talking with all of you. I know that we have about 20, 25 more minutes to go here.
Somebody was just saying, like, do you only do calls Monday through Friday? We do calls whenever people want to speak to us. As long as the availability is there, we do the calls. So yeah,
my calendar's set up Monday through Friday, but I'm more than happy to chat with somebody on the weekends if needed.
Perfect. Also, too, another thing to realize, folks, and let me just do a kind of a reset on, the training to see. We lost some people, but I understand it's getting late and it's been a long training. But how many of you that are still on here are brand new? This is the first time you've been to one of our events. Can you guys chat in, brand new or whatever you want? Anyone that chimes in, I just want to know how many of you are first timers. We got a bunch of new people on here. Perfect. Perfect. So what do you guys think of this? Like, is this totally like, are you all thinking, wow, this all looks too good to be true? Or what are your thoughts going through your head at this point? Because like, you know what? I remember the first time I saw that presentation, and I remember seeing it and feeling like there's no way that can be real. There's no way those numbers can be real. I said that just like many of you probably are. Mind blowing is one word that came to me. Now, I saw it. I was in disbelief like everybody else, but I remember thinking, if this is real, this literally can change my life. When I saw that chiropractor presentation and I was deep in debt, I'm like, that would change my entire life of my family and myself. And if I could take that money back that I'm giving away to everybody else, I penciled it out and added it up. I'm like, holy crap, there's no way that can happen. Folks, it did happen. And it does happen every month. Every month, little bill pay checks. Any of you ever get a bill pay check, right? They got the little perforations on the edges and the top. Man, I get those little things. I tear them things apart. I get that check in my hand. I'm old fashioned. I love holding paper checks. It will never get old. Yes. Could I do it digitally and have that money deposited into the account? Boring. I want to hold the check. I get a whole bunch of those little bill pays. And you know what they are? They're money that I used to give away to everybody else. It's a reminder every time I open and tear those perforations off of how bad I was trained before I learned this to give my money to everybody else. And now every time I get one of those checks, I don't care if it's $200, 300, I got one for 662 today. Those are all reminders of money that I gave away to everyone else that I now pay to myself because I am the bank. Just like all of you can be the bank. Just set up a call with our team, with Steven. I got the link right there, and we will answer all your questions. And here's the one thing we will not do. We will not sell you anything. We'll answer your questions, and every single call goes the same way, Steven, right? Admit it. Like, you didn't believe it when I first told you. All we're going to do, Steven, is we're going to talk to people. We're going to answer all their questions. We're never going to sell them anything. And Steven was thinking, man, how can we do this without selling anything? Like, that's stupid. If we teach you the right path to solve your problem, you will ask us to help you on your journey.
It's always the same. There's an awkward silence. Like, they don't know what else to ask because I've answered all the questions, and they're like, okay, well, what next? It's a beautiful thing. It really is.
Absolutely. All right, Stephen. Well, these are the final minutes here. We're in the home stretch. Thank you all for sticking around with us. Now, listen, let's get back to this 3-day event. Now, I know we've given you a ton of value tonight. I mean, I feel like, holy crap, we've given so much away, but there's so much more to teach you because we've only brushed the surface. We've given you the pimple on the elephant's ass. That's all we've given you. There is a lot more, but you know what? A lot of people get tired after this long. I'm tired. Steven's tired. Like, it's just nature. When we do the 3-day event, we spread this stuff out over 3 days in bite-sized pieces, but we go deep and we teach you strategy. We teach you how to apply this information, not just telling you what it is. We actually show you how to do it. We show you how this packet right here, this is in the file vault. So all of you that sign up for the 3-day event, you will not just get access, the golden ticket to the 3-day event. What else are they going to get? They're going to get a 30-day access to our community, which is MSTV. And then we also have Private Money Club. Are we giving them a snapshot of that?
Not Private Money Club. I can pull it up.
MSTV, but we'll pull that up. Plus, we're going to give you the file vault. This right here is a real deal. A real deal that's going on, the Private Money Club. This is a perfect loan proposal from one of our students. This is a deal where they're looking to borrow money for this amazing deal that they just locked up. Now, it took them forever to get this deal, but this deal is a good one. It's got photos. It's got personal financial statements. It's got their LLC documents. It's got everything that anyone, including a professional money lender, would need to want to lend. If you want to move money, you want deals like this to lend on that are complete, perfect, and honest, good borrowers. So these are the deals we're going to teach you how to, if you're somebody that needs money like this couple does, we're going to teach you how to build those kits. We're going to give you all the tools in the file vault just for signing up for the event. The event's $297, and you're going to get that, access to Money School TV. You're going to get, there's too much stuff. I don't even know what the hell we give them anymore. We give them too much.
Yeah, let me just share here real fast. So this is the registration page.
Keith, I'm going to use that, man. I'm going to use that new contract smell.
Contracts. Well, so this is the page we were showing you earlier with the registration where you can reserve your seat for the training next weekend. But where you're getting all the event recordings, access to the file vault, comprehensive wealth builder, free self-directed IRA, kit, which is actually a $350 fee waived to start it, as well as an education package that they give you, one-on-one consultation. So I plan on speaking to everybody that wants to talk and review your financial GPS, because again, you can learn everything in the world, but unless you actually take action and implement it, it's pointless. So we want to not only teach you during the 3 days, and again, we're going to talk about, look at this. And we're going to go over a lot of different topics and subjects. So it is overwhelming, but all we want you to do is focus on during that weekend, 1 or possibly 2 strategies that you can implement right away. And then we'll start snowballing it from there. And now that we've been doing this for over a year with these virtual events that I've been following up with the phone calls, it's working very, very well. So I want, I'll give you homework, do 1 or 2 different things. Maybe it's opening that self-directed. Maybe it's getting the money multiplier started. Maybe it's just moving some money over here, or maybe it's, learning private lending, or whatever it might be. We'll get you implementing that, because you need to get that base down, so then you can use that to move on to the next step. So we'll get that set up for you. And then we do give you the month to MSTV. So I just want to show you MSTV real fast. MSTV started last year. So everything in here is, let me see. So everything in here is brand new. And this is called Teachable. This is the education platform we use.
That was MSTV we were just looking at?
This is MSTV right here.
MSTV's got a new look and feel. Look at that.
Yeah. So you get the welcome letter. We have a private Facebook group. You get a member, become a member in, which is pretty cool. And then we offer what's called MSTV Premier, which we could talk about, but and then we have all the different upcoming events on here. But here's what MSTV is. It's on demand, about 15-minute videos. So you'll see they're anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, but they're all actionable items, things that you can do. So, and they're separated by topics. So mindset, if you're just having a bad day. I mean, I know Robert Sislow's a stud. He's the guy who started all of Grant Cardone's marketing and videos. And he's our marketing and video guy. So.
I'm sorry.
Absolute stud. Steve Richards, absolute stud. Dr. Ron Eccles, unbelievable guy. Randy Garn, 100 millionaire at least, probably worth more than that now. Stefan, I know Chris, he was near and dear to your heart. He unfortunately passed last year. And when he recorded this, I know there's a whole story to it. It goes a little longer, but if you watch this and you don't get goosebumps watching this, I don't know if you got a heart, man. He's just an unbelievable guy. Man.
I swear, it's almost like he's a prophet. He predicted things back then that absolutely are happening. And it's just, you just got to watch it.
Just the amount of value in MSTV alone. So you get a free 30-day trial for this. And if you want to continue, it is $19 a month or $190 a year to keep you access to all of these recordings, watch anytime you want, and all the new material that we put out. So we put new videos in here. Weekly, we'll put a couple in typically, and continue to grow this database. And also you get to stay within the Facebook group also. So $19 a month if you want to continue, but you get the 30 days for free. Skills Get the Deals with Chris Ruud. This is the one I would recommend. Anybody that's looking to get into real estate in any shape on the active side. So wholesaling, flipping, wholetailing, rentals, watch this video first with Chris Ruud. This is 21 minutes. This is probably the best 21 minutes you'll ever get in a real estate training. And this is included with it. I'm not even kidding when I say that. Jack Petrick, one of our business partners, doing a lot of developing. Justin Colby, unbelievable wholesaler himself. I mean, I could go on and on with these names on here. Kevin Shortell, he'll be on the 3-day with us. Got Paige out in California doing flips. She's an awesome girl. Jay Scott with Bigger Pockets. Another great organization. We do things. I
forgot we had him on. Yeah, he's like Andrew loves him.
Yeah. And this is the self-directed, the 6-part video series I was saying. You guys got to check this out. It goes pretty deep into self-directed IRAs and how they're important for not only your retirement, but also how to use them to raise funds for all of your deals, asset protection, and then a new section dealing with MSTV Premier and Private Money Club. So these are some of the introduction videos. So you haven't even seen these yet, Chris, but I mean,
no, I love it. It just keeps getting better and better. It's like fine wine. The longer it goes, the better it gets. We just keep getting more and more people on there. Better and better speakers on there. It's just, it's money, and everything in MSTV is relevant to what's happening right now. So when we do, we haven't been doing as many money videos because we've already got the good stuff on there. We don't want to overwhelm, but when the markets start to change, we'll start doing a lot more videos that are relevant for exactly what to do right when it's happening, so you know how to take action, how to reposition your portfolios. I'm going to be doing a video once this thing switches. I'll tell you how to create the all-weather portfolio, which I'll do in the 3-day as well. So
this is so also inside. So when you log into Teachable, any courses that you have access to will show up in here. So for instance, you'll have the Money School TV immediately pop up. You'll have one that looks very similar to this, except it'll have April 30th, May 1st, May 2nd, 3 days. So you click that. That's where all the recordings are located, as well as some bonus material that we put in there for you. And then you'll have access to this file vault, and you'll have access to all of this stuff for as long as you want to continue logging in and using it. And anytime we update it, we don't charge you. So if we go in and we update any of these different forms in the file vault or anything, we just add to it all the time, and we update it and do it all for you. So you'll never pay anything more for any of this. You'll get access to this moving forward for always, just for attending the 3-day course. Whether you continue with MSTV or not, you'll still have access to all this. So we could go through these. I know we're running a little late on time, but the max offer formula, these are all dealing with evaluating properties. So either when you're out there in the field or you're putting together a deal packet, looking to borrow money. I mean, this is very, very powerful. This credibility builder right here, because when you go to borrow money, I mean, Chris is showing you, if you guys can see it.
You can see that, but this is the credibility builder flowing into the personal financial statement, which we give you, flowing into their documents here, flowing into the everything in here is stuff that we're giving you, with the exception of the financial documents. Spec sheet right there, that's in the file vault. This is the cash flow analyzer, allows you to put together numbers for the rentals, shows you exactly how much cash flow. So this property is going to have a cap rate of 13, going to make them 277.09. They were able to do this in probably 10 minutes. So all these tools, everything in here, these templates, you get all this in the file vault, and you get it forever just for signing up for the event.
Right. Yeah. So that's all in there, as well as the complete wealth builder, which is the personal wealth resource kit. And we just put a bunch of bonus stuff in there too. So you'll get access to all of that with the $297 for the 3-day course. Now, and of course, the money multiplier, again, we don't charge anything for that. So if you like the idea of getting a policy started, that's just a simple phone call, and we can get you moving forward with that. So I know we got about 10 minutes left. We want to just answer some questions.
I would love to. Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, we put the link up there. So let's see. Oh, I like the face of my watch. Can I get it from my Apple Watch? A lot of people think this is an Apple Watch. This is just a cheap plastic watch that my friend makes, and it says now on it. It's always the right time. And that'd be interesting. We really should write to Apple and ask them to create an app or some face that just says now. They got all these other fancy Nike faces. They should have one that just says the right time, which is right now. But this is not an Apple Watch. This is just a cheap plastic watch that my friend made that says now, but I like where you're at there.
All right. Here's a question. When do you get down to the nitty gritty, reviewing all assets, debts of future clients, building illustration for their future? That has been my biggest struggle, trying to get advice from your lawyer, CPA, financial advisor, loan officer. It's all conflicted. Yeah. Well, that's because everybody's looking out for themselves. Everybody wants to make money off you. Your lawyer wants to tell you one thing, make money off you. Your CPA wants to tell you something else, make money off you. Your financial advisor, if they lose your money, they make no money off of you. So they're not going to tell you the stuff that we're teaching right now and during the 3-day, because they can't make money off of it. Why would a financial advisor tell you to take your money and go invest in real estate and out of their firm? You know how financial advisors get paid, right? They get paid by what's under management for them, what they're instructing you to do with your money. Like, who cares about your money more than you do? Nobody. Nobody care about it. So why would you give your entire life savings in retirement to somebody else? I mean, it's just crazy. Take control of it. Loan officers, I mean, you kind of need them, but yeah, I mean,
well, the other thing that's really important on that exact thing is people are confused, because they're getting different conflicting information from so many people. This person says this, the next person says, don't do that. You really got to sometimes trace it down and see, like, follow the buck. Everything you heard tonight, we're talking about, Like, we don't make money off of your home equity line. We don't make money off your 401k. We don't make money off of Quantum RE helping you get the equity out of yours, which you'll learn in the 3-day. Like, do we get paid for setting your private banking policy up? Yeah, but 60 to 90% less than the average advisor or bank broker or insurance agent does.
Yeah, we even have opportunities to make money off of you guys, and we decide not to. For instance, with Horizon Trust Company, you know, they charge a $350 setup fee for anybody just off the streets or that calls them or goes on their website, $350 to set up the account. They told us, hey, listen, we can charge that $350 to your students and we'll give it to you as a commission for sending over the business. We said, how about you just don't charge them the $350 and just don't pay us anything? So they did that. So that's why we're able to work out that $350. We just don't accept it from them, and they pass the savings on to you. So just one example right there.
I mean, it really just comes down to, you know, sometimes you got to make decisions in life. And, you know, I've been fortunate, you know, myself creating this whole thing that, you know, I've made great money in real estate, made a lot of money doing the things that I have, that we don't have to make money on every little thing. We can, and Greg Reed, one of my mentors, and I'll be speaking at his event, Secret Knock. So honored to do that. But he told me a long time ago when I was at a hard point, he said, give your best stuff away for free. So that's what I do. I mean, none of you had to pay to be here tonight. Sure. Are we, you know, trying to get you to a 3-day? Yeah, but we're just trying to keep you around the campfire so you can learn what we know and get around the people that we're around. $297. Honestly, you really think we're giving 3 days of our time for $297? Is that worth it for us? Folks, we will spend every penny of that $297 to get more butts in those seats. That's not how we make money, folks. We don't make money off your $297, but you know what? When people come on for free, they only take a little bit of that home because they didn't have to pay for it. They don't value it as much. When people pay for something, they really value it. So if you get a recording for an event that you pay $297, how many of you will go back and watch that recording? 90+% will, because you paid for it. If I give you a recording of an event that's free that you weren't able to show up, how many of you will go back and watch that? Probably less than 10%. Folks, it's real. When you pay something, it goes back to what the wealthy do with money. The wealthy do two things and two things really well. They invest their time and they invest their money. Why is it that people pay for coaches? Why is it that every professional athlete pays a training coach or a performance coach? It's because they know that that person is going to hold their ass to the fire and get them to do things that normally they wouldn't do themselves.
Well, and here's where you even take it to a whole nother level, Chris, with your mentors, is you share. And that's, I don't know if you worked that out with them at the beginning or if they're just very, they love sharing value, so they're willing to do it for you. But, Chris brings, Chris, I know you spend, I'm sure, higher 6 figures at this point, but well over 6 figures a year in mentors.
Over 6, yeah.
So what you do, and I've seen this over the last year, is and those of you that have been following us, this, but Chris brings them into our network. So Chris's mentors will come on MSTV and do an episode. Chris's mentors will come on the 3-day class and talk to you for a little bit. Chris's mentors will come on to our 2-hour, we do a 2-hour group coaching call for our MSTV Premier students every single month on Thursday evenings. And Chris will bring his mentors that he's paying $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 a year to. They'll come on and talk with you one-on-one, in our group coaching call for 2 straight hours. Like, that's just unbelievable to me, just the sharing of value.
Well, think about this. And I never talk about that just because that would be me just tooting my horn. But like Randy Garn, okay? Randy Garn is just under a billionaire, right? He's not an official billionaire, but he's just under, he's 100 millionaire. Randy Garn is probably one of the smartest businessmen that I've ever been around. You know how much money I pay him? $5,000 a month for one phone call with him per month. And you know what? How many of you could spend $60,000 a year for a coach to talk to him once a year? Probably not many. Some of you probably think that that's absolutely foolish, but it's not. I get access to his network. I get access to his knowledge. I get access to what he knows to do what we do. And you know what I do? That $60,000 I spend on that 1 hour, you know what I do? I give that to you. He's on MSTV. You can watch him. You can learn from him. He's going to be at our event in August, The Experience. He'll be there. You'll get to shake almost billionaire's hand and surround yourself around him and what he knows. And then we're bringing 2 other people to that event too. Brandon Steiner, he bought the old Yankee Stadium. Okay, he bought it for like $7 million and turned around and made hundreds of millions and selling the things of that. Like, these are the people I surround myself with. But why would I be selfish and just keep those people to myself because I pay them. Oh my God, I don't want to give them out because I'm paying them. I give them to you because what fun is it to get all this knowledge and not share it? There's no fun in that. Steve Sims, he works with billionaires. He used to have a company that ran events for all the billionaires that you've ever met, from Princes to Ferrari to Enzo Lamborghini, or not Enzo, Torino Lamborghini. He's worked with them all. He's my mentor. I pay him thousands of dollars every month. I don't even talk to him. He just sets up people. Like, he puts me in front of bigger pockets and other things. Like, he's been on there. You have access to him. Like, folks, I share my network because I believe truly that if you give, you get. So if I give you what I pay for and things that most people can't have, I can excel your life at a much faster pace than my life was excelled at. And that, to me, is worth the price of gold. And how much is gold? A lot.
Probably going up even more. So any last questions out there? Like we said, we want to share. We want to answer those right now. Otherwise, get yourself registered. We'll see you at the 3-day. Schedule a call. Let's talk about it. Email me if you want.
And I've got one other thing, folks, another thing you all get, when you sign up for the 3-day is you get access to Lazy Cash. This is Lazy Cash right here. He's getting rambunctious because he's not used to being at the office from 7 a.m. and what is it, almost 10 now. So he wants to go home because we only have soft cat food at home. So I don't care if you're a cat person or not, having this guy was a stray. We found him outside and we brought him in here, and he has been so much fun. He's brought so much joy to this office. And a lot of people, when they see a cat on my videos, they're like, oh, you're just doing this from your house. Folks, this is an 8,000 square foot facility here. I just let this little bugger run around and tear around this place and have fun. And I'm just saying that just to joke around because, like, listen, folks, money is a serious thing. But sometimes you watch the video in the beginning, you see the things we're doing. I just want you to laugh sometimes because in the hardest times of my life, I think some of the things I really wished people would have done is not give me something, not give me advice. Sometimes I just wished somebody would have just made me laugh. And at the beginning of COVID, I remember I was kind of in a hard place. I don't remember what was going on, but I was down in the dumps. I was just bummed out. I was just miserable. Like, things were changing. Everything was happening. Life was falling apart. Everything from politics to freaking everything else. And you know what? Someone sent me a Saturday Night Live skit, and I laughed uncontrollably, and it felt so freaking good. So I spend thousands, $5,000, almost a little under to be exact, every month to create those funny, stupid videos with cats and Bubba Brown and Megan Moolah and Infinite Banking Ian and Big Bank Frank to make you all laugh. If I'm doing that to make you laugh, what else am I willing to do to help you be successful? That's for you to decide, folks. And the gateway to that is this 3-day event. So if you want more, if you like what you got, just join us for the 3-day. I'll even say this, every one of you, we only have 78 left, but any of you that join us for the 3-day, if you don't get out of the 3-day what you feel is valuable or worth $297, me personally, I will handwrite you a check for $297 and mail it to your primary residence, because I don't want you at the 3-day event if you didn't get value, and I will give you 100% of your money back, and you can keep all the free things we gave you. So if that isn't enough to get you to sign up for the 3-day event, because I know what it will do for you, then I don't know what else I can give, because I've given you everything but the shirt off my back and the cat Lazy Cash. So you can have him if you want him, but good luck. You might not want him. You're going to send him back to me with UPS. What is the fastest shipping? Overnight shipping. You will send Lazy Cash back to me very quickly.
Cash. I have a little cat. I don't think you've ever seen my cat, Chris.
I didn't even know you had a cat. And I know we got some dog people on here that are like, I hate cats. Well, good. Then we'll keep Lazy Cash here.
I got the big dog too.
There you go.
All right.
Well, this is
we got
amazing,
a couple.
folks. We kind of got through all the questions. We're at the tail end. So I appreciate all of you. I hope to see most of you at the 3-day event, and we will absolutely transform your financial future by putting you back in control. Steven, anything you got to say in final words?
No, that was awesome. I mean, that was a heck of a marathon. I don't think we've done a 4-hour preview before, so that was something, but it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did it. And I just can't wait for the 3-day. I mean, Friday. So Friday, just with all you going through money and the banks. I mean, I've seen it. This will be my 7th time. And it's amazing how much you know about banking and how much you know about money and how all the loans, different types of loans work. I mean, it's so good. And then over the next 2 days on Saturday and Sunday with all the experts we bring in, I mean, it's such a great training. So I'm just super excited for it next weekend. And thank you for those of you that were on this evening. Thanks for those of you that are going to be joining us for the 3-day. And if you have any last questions before, joining or whether this might be right for you, whether those 3 days are worth it's obviously it's worth the money, but if it's worth your time, give me an email or give me a call and let's talk about it. Make sure it's the right thing for you. And let's rock and roll, guys. Let's make that change and solve your money problem.
I love it. Well, thank you, everybody. And also a lot of people chiming in about the 1041 tax filing. Join us for the 3-day. That's the only way you'll ever have access to Solomon, because he isn't going anywhere else. It was twisting his arm and kicking him in the ass to get him on there. So we'll see him and you at the 3-day event. Thank you all for joining us for this long marathon of a training. We love you. You're part of our 5%ers, and we'll be with you till the end. So see you on the next one.
Cheers.